While out hunting, Llewellyn Moss finds the grisly aftermath of a drug deal. Though he knows better, he cannot resist the cash left behind and takes it with him. The hunter becomes the hunted when a merciless killer named Shigur picks up his trail. Also looking for Moss is Sheriff Bell, an aging lawman who reflects on a changing world as he tries to find and protect Moss. Welcome back to another installment of Midnight Double Feature, and on tonight's episode we'll be covering No Country for Old Men, written and directed by Joel and Ethan Coen.
Colin, I got a question for you, man.
Yeah.
And look, I'm just going to jump right fucking into it. Is this one of the greatest movies of all time?
I thought you were going to say, what is the most you've ever lost in a coin toss? I was like, oh wow, this is getting heavy.
By the way, there's going to be a lot of fucking impressions.
Oh, dude, that guy's voice is so impressionable.
Yeah.
I honestly, I do think this is one of the best movies to come out in a very long time. Especially, because I don't know a lot about the Coen Brothers, but I don't think they do a lot of novels. They do a lot of their own original stuff. So for them to come out and just like knock this McCarthy book like out of the park, I think this is one of the best movies I've seen in the last 20 years. I can't watch this movie and think of another movie that it reminds me of, and I think that says a lot. Like, I do that a lot. I relate a lot of films to each other, but I can't do that with this one. So I do think it is one of the best movies to come out in the last 20 years, and it's even though it is big and a lot of people know about it, does it still feel a kind of underrated just for how great it is? Like, it feels like I don't think enough people have like seen this movie. To me, I know a lot of people that have, but I know quite a few more that actually haven't. Is that your experience, or what do you think?
No, I do agree with you, man. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen this movie, and for me, it might be different because like, everyone that I know is obviously my age, somewhere around my age. Mm-hmm. And when this came out, it was 2007. So, like, I was 14 years old. So, I might as well just dive into my thoughts on this because, like, it's just going to lead into it.
Do it.
But 2007, dude, I was into fucking Transformers. That was the year Transformers came out. And, like, I was like, yeah, let's go fucking watch robots fighting each other. And look, they can do this with effects now. Like, that's crazy. I didn't watch this movie until probably a few years later, and I still didn't like it. Like, this didn't really appeal to me, like, when I was younger. But watching it now, man, and watching it a few years ago, it absolutely is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I don't... It's a masterpiece. Like, there's no other way to say it. It absolutely is a masterpiece. My knowledge, my Coen Brothers sort of knowledge is pretty low. Like, they've directed quite a few movies, and I've only seen about 4 of them, dude. I've only seen Fargo. I've only seen Big Lebowski. I've seen, obviously, this, and I've seen True Grit. I haven't seen anything else that they've done, man. Like, I really want to watch Raising Arizona. I really want to watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Man. I haven't seen a lot of their stuff, but Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is like top notch. That shit is so good.
And like, see, I've heard that from multiple fucking sources, but I just haven't sorted out, dude. True Grit is fantastic. I think I've seen Burn After Reading. I can't remember it at all. And I haven't seen Hail Caesar, but yeah, man, my knowledge of them is very, very limited. So I do really want to get into more of their things. But so you mentioned Cormac McCarthy, which is the author of what this movie is based on. Mm-hmm. I also want to get into his stuff as well, man. Like, I heard one of his books called Blood Meridian is outstanding, like really dark but outstanding. He's had a few movies that have been adapted. So The Road with fucking what's his name, Viggo Mortensen.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's great.
Yeah, I saw. I liked it. I remember liking it.
Yeah. I heard it's like really bleak though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Like, it's just called like The Man and the Boy. Like, the whole time they don't even have fucking names. It's like, oh god.
And one of my biggest disappointments in the cinema of all time was The Counselor. 2013, dude. I was so stoked for this movie. It was directed by Ridley Scott, Michael Fassbender, Penelope Cruz, like Cameron Diaz, a fucking Javier Bardem, Brad Pitt. Like, what a cast! A great trailer as well. And it was just dog shit. I literally walked out halfway through. I was just,
Wow.
This is terrible. But that was obviously another Cormac McCarthy book. But yeah, man. Turning back to this, just wow. like there's no other word for it. It's just so. It's probably the most modern Western I've ever seen. Like, it's strange to see a movie that, it takes place in the 80s, but it feels like a Western, like an old style Western. Like, this movie could take place in any time period. Like, it's so simple. The concept is so simple, but the way the Coen brothers present it complicates it a little bit, but not too complicated. Like, we don't really know who this Sugar character is. Like, what his overall motivations are. Like, he is a hitman. It turns out, but it's not immediately sort of apparent. Josh Brolin, dude. Josh Brolin. He always seems to get overshadowed in his movies. He's amazing in this, but he gets obviously overshadowed by Bardem. He gets overshadowed in Sicario by Del Toro, which, by the way, this movie reminded me a lot of Sicario, and I wondered why. I just couldn't really decide why. Probably all of the desert sort of landscapes, but then I realized, hold up, this is shot by the great fucking Roger Deakins.
Yeah.
Roger Deakins is a beast.
Dude,
like, he just picked up his Oscar finally after being nominated 20 plus times. But he's an incredible DP, man. Like, he shoots landscapes like no other person. And it's funny because he won for Blade Runner 2049, which is like there's no sort of like landscapes in that aren't, like, there's a lot of artificial landscapes. Like, it's not like this where it's all like,
you got a guy who, I mean, he's Shawshank, Beautiful Mind, like all the Coen Brother movies, the Blade Runner 1 and 2, and it's like, dude, how did this guy not win one for Shawshank?
Right.
Like, I mean, what's widely considered to be, the best film of all time. Like, I think Shawshank is number one at IMDb.
It is.
Okay, yeah. But I can't believe that he didn't win for something like that. But I mean, that movie was kind of a critical bomb when it came out. But it went on to, I think it sold more DVDs than any other movie. And I love Shawshank, and I love Blade Runner. I love this movie, but Shawshank is probably the best out of all those films, and I can't believe that never won anything. That just shows you sometimes that you're just like critics and stuff like that. Like, you're just wrong. Like, you're just fucking wrong.
Yeah, just fucking critics being cunts, but what can you do?
Yeah, that's what's Bohemian Rhapsody suffering from right now, actually.
Well, you know what? We'll talk about it on our next episode. But
no, we're fucking talking about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, it's sitting at 8.4 on IMDb, and on fucking critics, I think it's like 50 something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to this, Tommy Lee Jones, was Tommy Lee Jones born old? Like,
I know,
I've
right?
never seen him young.
Right, yeah. It's like I feel like they just freeze him every 70 or 80 years and bring him back out and they just rename him. People are like, oh, just because it does kind of crack me up, because the first things I remember seeing him in are like Men in Black and The Fugitive and stuff like that. But I just don't know. I don't know much of his acting career outside of like my kind of like generation. I don't know how long he's been doing things. I'm sure at some point he didn't have wrinkles in his face, but he looks like he's just constantly like smoking unfiltered cigarettes and drinking black coffee.
Dude, he looks like a fucking melting candle.
Right, yeah.
But like, yeah, the first time I saw him was Men in Black, and like, he plays like an older character that, like, he's surly and like very serious. But he's fantastic in this movie, man. I think this might be the best performance I've seen him in. Like you said, I haven't seen much of his either. I've seen The Fugitive. I've seen this. I've seen U.S. Marshals. Unfortunately, I've seen Batman Forever. But yeah, dude, he was nominated for an Oscar like in 2007, same year as this came out, but not for this movie. He was nominated for In the Valley of Elah, which is directed by Paul Haggis, Scientologist. But anyway, we'll leave that there. But yeah, man, amazing movie. Very simple, but it deals with a lot of difficult concepts. Like it just there's a lot of things in this movie that are left open to interpretation, and I'm gonna love chatting to you about this because like I love to get other people's opinions on things. Like there are some sort of like strings that are kind of like left hanging that are kind of like, oh, okay, well we'll leave this up for the audience to decide. But yeah, man, fucking Best Picture winner as well. You know, Javier Bardem picked up an Oscar as well. This movie is a powerhouse, and probably might actually be to date not my favorite movie that we've covered, but probably the best movie we've ever covered. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think it's definitely, from the limited scope of the Coen Brother stuff that I've seen, I think. Which one would I rather watch? No Country or The Big Lebowski? It's like, well, I'd rather watch The Big Lebowski, but
right.
No Country is.
I was going to say that's another thing. Like the Coen Brothers lean towards dark humor mostly. Like look at Fargo, look at Big Lebowski. I haven't seen it, but Oh Brother Where Art Thou is a comedy, right? Like I mean, like they remind me a lot of Shakespeare. Shakespeare did a lot of comedies, but he also did a lot of tragedies. And this is absolutely a tragedy, like you know.
Absolutely.
And so is, you know, to a lesser extent, True Grit. Like it's less of a comedy. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I think. I think. I think with something like this, this movie does a great job of juggling a lot of different people's perspectives on things. It's very rare that we get so many movies that are cat and mouse movies in between, you know, two people trying to catch each other, but one that we hang on them like so much. You know, we like when we're with Sugar and we see him trying to find Llewellyn, and we're watching Llewellyn just barely staying one step ahead, if even that. But at the same time, you know, they don't ever even come face to face. I don't think, you know, they hardly ever even speak to each other, but like once. And I think that's really cool because even though we're, you know, most movies would show, you know, these guys, you know, meeting face to face and, you know, oh, I'm going to get you. And there'd be this big blowout at the end. It just totally flips the script on that. I know a lot of people that were pissed when they, you know, when we roll up in that hotel room and fucking Josh Brolin's dead. You know, a lot of people are like, what
I was one
the
of them.
fuck?
Back in the day when I watched it, man, I was like, I'm a shit little snot-nosed high school kid. I'm like, this is fucking shit.
Right. Yeah. Cause we're so like predisposed to a certain type of movie
structure.
But I think this movie's fantastic. I have not read any Cormac McCarthy. Lindsay has, you know, she's an English teacher, so she's actually read. I know she's read No Country for Old Men. I don't know if she's actually read Blood Meridian. She said she fucking loved No Country though. But this movie, for one thing, I think to the common like moviegoer, I guess, you know, people who are just casual movie watchers, like No Country for Old Men is just kind of a weird. I mean, because you're like, what the fuck is that about? You know, like what the hell does that mean? And I think where most people might be turned away even just from the title. I was just sucked in as like No Country for Old Men. Like that's kind of cool. Like what is that about, and what exactly does that mean? You know, in relation with this movie, and all in all, I mean, I love this. I thought it was great. I don't want to hear any Cable or Thanos jokes for the rest of this episode. So throw away your whole fucking set list.
So the guy from Sicario.
Yeah, right. Oh god damn it. Yeah, but as I'm watching this, I'm just like, oh man, there's gonna be so many Cable and Thanos jokes. That'd be so funny.
No. If it was Matt Valerant here, then yeah. But
yeah. Just like when they shoot Brolin, he just uses the time stone and brings himself back.
But you know what? I am going to bring up fucking Red Dead Redemption. Like, how could I not?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, yeah. How's that going? By the way, you liking it?
Dude, it's fucking incredible. Like, it's consumed my life. Like, I'm. Can we just like end the podcast here so I can go back to playing it?
Yeah, right. Like, I'm doing the same thing. I've gotten back into some Halo 5, and I've been playing like Dying Light lately.
The second one's about to come out, I think. Right?
Dude, yeah, I've been wanting to like check it out, but yeah, just getting back to the thing at hand. Yeah, like I said, I like this a lot. I think even though I'd say, you know, some movies get a little bit overhyped and it pisses me off. Some of them get, drastically underhyped and that pisses me off. I think this one is at like 75% peak of its like hype. This movie deserves just a little bit more.
Right.
I would say that, I mean, as far as from 2000 to 2010, except for maybe like The Dark Knight, I struggle to find movies that I think are like even comparable to this. I think that this movie absolutely just crushes it. I mean, especially for that time period. Because, I mean, especially from 2000 to 2005, a lot of dog shit movies. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that this thing just like blows down. But as you start getting later in that decade, I think that there's a lot of strong competitors, but it's hard to think of anything that can hold up to No Country for Old Men. But yeah, I mean, do you just want to go ahead and jump right into this? So I guess it's really our opening thoughts there.
Yeah, man. I've actually got one more question because, like, hey, I'm in a question asking mood fucking today. Is Anton Chigurh one of the greatest antagonists of all time? Because, dude, he's going to be up there, right? Like a year after this, we got my favorite antagonist of all time, which is Heath Ledger's Joker. Mm-hmm. But I honestly think, man, like he's smart. He's fucking like he's cunning. Like he's got the ability to track you down. Like he's brutal. Like, what do you think? Like, give me your thoughts on Anton Chigurh, because like. I think he's going to be the MVP in this movie, right? If we had to choose one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is great. All of those guys are great, and they come across as extremely real and three-dimensional. The way that they talk, just, this is very simple, kind of flat speech is great. But with, I mean, not only do you have the voice, and that shit, right. That shit is fucking, I mean, a character in itself. But then you've got just this. I mean, every villain is the hero of their own story, and I think that he, I love what Carson Wells, Woody Harrelson says later. He's like, he's got values you could say that couldn't be bought by money or drugs or power, and like he can't be corrupted in that way, like a superhero would be. I mean, a superhero would be, Captain America or Superman or somebody, they're incorruptible. These are the people, like, you cannot break their moral codes, and nobody said anything about it being a good moral code. It's just a moral code, and I think he's just great, like, especially to the point where, like, you kind of start questioning, like, why he's even doing the things that he's doing, and one of them, I'll get to, I'll point it out here, because I need help with that. I'm like, dude, I don't understand why he did this, but with his characters' interactions, so many people would have just taken this a completely different way, and not gotten so personal about it. But I don't even think it's that he gets personal about it. It's not even personal. It's principle. He's like, it's the principle of the thing. He's like, I told you I would kill you. I told you this is what I was going to do. What if I, he's really only got his word. If he doesn't stick to his word, what good is he? And I think that he does such an incredible job, because not only is he physically terrifying and just intimidating, especially with that haircut, and it's just fucking weird. But I mean, you got the voice, you got the hair. I mean, the odd choice in weaponry. But I mean,
the weaponry especially.
Yeah, but just the philosophy of stuff, because even though he's crazy, and he's crazy, and I know he's crazy, he makes just enough sense to get in your head, and like, not that you agree with it, but you understand it, and it's like, God, that is what terrifies me, is the fact that, like, maybe I don't agree with what you're saying, but you're grounded in reality enough for even me to understand it. Like that to me is fucking terrifying. But part of it, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about, do you watch Bob's Burgers?
No.
Oh my God. One of their kids dresses up as Anton Chigurh for Halloween, and it's so fucking hilarious. It's like a 9-year-old girl going around with an oxygen tank. I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. But yeah, I think he absolutely crushes it. I would definitely put him up there.
Definitely.
I mean, I'd put him up there with Vader. like for sure.
Hell yeah.
Like the
Hell
dude,
yeah.
I put him right up there with Vader. I know that's like, you know, sacrosanct, and I know there's like a lynch mob headed for me right now, but at the same time, like it's just undeniably a crazy, and he is like elemental, man. Like he is
100%.
terrifying. Like
he's a force of nature.
Yeah, he's all encompassing. Like that is what's fucking scary. He's like a tornado. It's terrifying.
Right. All right, let's get into this bitch.
Oh, word. Well, I mean, we kind of open on this monologue. Well, actually, before we even get there, if you guys want to check us out, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we, you know, you can find us on Facebook, Midnight Double Feature. We've got the party attached to it called the After Party. It's all one word, and everybody's invited. You can find us on Instagram at Midnight Double Feature, Twitter at MDF Pod. We're also on YouTube. We've got a lot of shit going on right now, which is really cool. These whole couple months are going to be good to us. We got Red Dead, Bohemian Rhapsody. We got the Alien movie coming out, or not Alien, Halloween movie coming out, and then I'm super excited for that Overlord movie, produced by J.J. Abrams. That looks fucking awesome.
Getting good reviews, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of shit coming up, especially with motherfucking Bohemian Rhapsody, bitch.
Yeah, we got a guest that we. I don't know if you want to reveal it yet, but we got a guest.
Yeah, we're getting Patrick Harrington, our good friend Patrick Harrington from Married People Watch Movies. Him and his lovely wife Barb. They both do the show. We're just gonna have Patrick on for our episode. But he's a huge Queen fan. I know he's gone and seen the movie already. We both have a great mutual. Anybody who loves Queen as much as that is a friend of mine. So we hit it off very, very well right off the bat. And he's been really supportive of the show. We love always talking to Patrick and stuff. He's a great supporter and good podcaster and
he's
a good friend.
Yeah, definitely.
We like him a lot here. But yeah, super excited to cover that movie. So next week we're going to be doing a special feature on Bohemian Rhapsody. If you know me and you know the show, you fucking should have seen that shit coming. But super stoked to talk about that. And especially, you know, might be doing a little bit of video game coverage here coming up. I mean, we've got Black Ops 4 that just came out, Red Dead Redemption. So things are starting to heat up. We got a lot of content coming. You know, things have been good to us lately. So
absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I guess after that shameless little plug, we can go ahead and jump right in the movie. But I mean, what do you think of this opening? I mean, it's just this monologue of him. But I mean, what do you think? I'm not going to sit here and recite the whole fucking thing. You know it. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you fucking know it. I'm not going to sit here and recite the whole thing. But
I was going to recite a little bit of it.
Go ahead, dude.
just because like it's so. This opening is so influential to what the movie is. Like this is the DNA of the movie. And like if you don't get this, then you don't really get a lead into what the Coens are actually saying and what McCarthy's really saying. Like you got Tommy Lee Jones's character, Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, just kind of like doing this monologue, and he's talking about, I was a sheriff of this county when I was 25. He's reminiscing pretty much, and a lot of his character is reminiscing. Like that's the entire point of the movie. Like the entire point of the movie to me is, you know, the landscape of crime is changing. Like things are moving so much faster than this guy can even contemplate. He'd rather go back to the old days when he's just dealing with simple crimes and not cartel murders and, you know, this Anton Chigurh figure who's like, I guess, a metaphor for the way of crime just escalating. Like it's just something that he can't even fathom. You know, he can't even get a handle on. But he talks about how he sent a guy to the electric chair for killing a 14-year-old girl. Paper said it was a crime of passion, but he told me there wasn't any passion to it. Told me he'd be planning to kill somebody for about as long as he could remember. Said that if they turned him out, he'd do it again. Said he knew he was going to hell. Be there in about 15 minutes. I don't know what to make of that. I surely don't. Right. The crime you see now, it's hard to even take. It's hard to take even its measure. It's not that I'm afraid of it. I always knew you had to be willing to die even to do this job, not to be glorious. But I don't want to push my chips forward and go out and meet something I don't understand. You can say it's my job to fight it, but I don't know what it is anymore. More than that, I don't want to know. A man would have to put his soul at hazard. He would have to say, okay, I'll be part of this world. Like, dude, that opening monologue is just outstanding.
Right. He's kind of saying that, I mean, I mean, obviously, things ain't like the way they used to be, blah, blah, blah.
Back in my day.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, I mean, you have to be able to, not only stomach what these people are doing, but match their intensity in a way that, I mean, I'm not saying match their intensity as in, you need to start running down the street, shooting at people and firing your weapons in public and, putting people in danger like the criminals do. But you have to be able to match their intensity from your side of morality. You're going to have to be able to, work the late nights and be able to put in the time and be able to be a part of this world. It's kind of like,
you need to be a super cop.
Right, yeah. It's kind of like, it makes me think of like Batman and things like that, like you have to be able to match that kind of insanity that these people do. And I can see how difficult that would be. I like, because it's interesting, we've got kind of the good, the bad, and the indifferent. We got Tommy Lee Jones, the good, we've got Javier Bardem, the bad, and we've got Josh Brolin as kind of the indifferent. Because he's kind of just our gray area, there are black and whites and grays, and I think it's great because you have two people like Sugar and Moss who were, or sorry, not Moss,
Llewellyn.
No, the sheriff's name, Sheriff Bell. Sorry, you have these characters who are kind of, like Sugar is, I mean, he is, to say he's ahead of the curve, I mean, in terms of what it is that he's doing from his standpoint, I guess, of morality, like this guy is willing to do whatever to get the job done, and that's ultimately, in this line of work, the guy who wins. Moss is in way over his head. You've got Bell, who is kind of in over his head. I mean, ultimately, this whole ordeal draws him to retire. He's like, dude, I just can't keep up with people like that anymore. He's like, it's kind of, it's like, a mugger takes a purse, it makes sense. You have people just killing someone just because they want to kill someone, like he's talking about this opening monologue. You just can't wrap your head around it, and it's, the world just stops making sense.
For sure. And I think the way,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the way Deakins shoots this whole opening sequence with like the changing landscape, it definitely mirrors the way, crime is like a changing landscape. Everything's just, there's no stopping it. Like it's perpetually moving forward.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if you try to stop and plant your feet, it's just going to sweep you up. And you have to kind of move with it. You have to adapt. You have to evolve, to ride out the storm, so to speak. There's some things about, especially with Sugar, that some of his motives and stuff, like one thing in particular, and again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But like ultimately, I thought this movie just did such a great job of being able to show the varying degrees of this world. You've kind of got heaven, hell, and earth. You've got people in the middle, people up top, and people down low. And we're just trying to we're just kind of trying to figure out exactly where everyone stands and exactly what is going on, because I think that there's a lot of stuff in this because of not the lack of dialogue, but this is a smart movie. This is sometimes a blink and you miss it kind of thing if you're not paying attention. I think it's like screenwriting 101. It is show and don't tell. It shows you so much stuff, and you just have to keep up with that. And if you're not keeping up with it, you're going to get lost in the dust. And I love those kind of movies, though. I think it's every film fanatic's wet dream to see a movie like that. But yeah, I love that. I love that opening monologue. I think it's crazy because you don't see a lot of movies do that. You don't see a lot of movies just start with this, literally start with this opening monologue, and just and just the most plain boring shots in a way. Most films, it would be like suicide to do something like this, but this works out so well because it's kind of the calm right before the storm, because we get one of the more violent scenes in the movie, like right off the bat.
Fucking wild.
Yeah, like it's one thing to see some shootouts and some see some people get shot and like quick deaths and stuff, but just just to jump right into it, basically we've got Sugar who's been picked up by a deputy, Did they ever say exactly what it? I mean, he's just been picked up for something along the way. They don't ever really get into it.
I don't think it's important. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But I mean, just God, it's. There's a reason why I picked this movie. This was my pick, by the way, because we just came off
Finally,
of
a good pick.
But don't make me pull out fucking Flatliners, dude. I'll do the remake. No, I'm just kidding. No, but one thing that I liked about this was, it's a couple of beats away from being a light horror movie. It's certainly a thriller. It's certainly, butthole clenching, just like, oh my God, there's so much shit going on that just makes you, just get your heart pounding. It's a cat and mouse kind of crime film, but it's only a couple of beats away from a horror movie, just because I mean, this guy is like, he's like Jason, he's like Freddy, dude. He's just this unstoppable force. So when you see him stand up and start walking over to the cop, you're just like, holy shit. And he's methodical, dude. He like waits for him to put the phone down. Like he's like smart.
Like the way he like silently maneuvers, because he's cuffed from the back. Right. And he has to get his legs over and under, like his hands under, like so he can choke this guy out. And dude, the struggle, I have never seen anything like this ever on screen. Like it's not the blood spurting from the neck. It's not the struggle. It's not even his face. It's not even Sugar's face. Like that scowl is like nightmare inducing. But for me, man, it's the shot afterwards, after he's like washed his hands. It's the boot marks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the feet, man. It's like a fish out of water. It's really hard to watch. It's like, oh Jesus, dude. And you're hearing the squeaking, and you're like, what the hell's going on? When they finally show you, I mean, just the aftermath of the struggle to survive. Like, oh my God, dude. Like you really start, because for me, I'm like, I project too hard into these things. I just start really thinking about like, God, imagine the air cutting out and this thing slicing your artery and your feet just kicking. Like I'm like, okay, dude, that's fucking terrifying. I'm gonna check out of that real quick. Because it's really rough. Yeah, it's fucking terrifying, dude. And just the ease with which he does that, I mean how willing he is to fuck himself up and fucking just destroy his wrist and
the lacerations, yeah.
Right, yeah. But after we kill Barney Fife, the deputy, which do you get that reference? Do you guys have Andy Griffith in Australia? Okay, cool.
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think it's actually a necessity in the South. We'll get fined if we don't watch it. But yeah, this is something that this part always makes me laugh. He kills the sheriff. He bandages up his wrist. He hits the road. But then this guy, he pulls him over. And, I get it. I would pull over. It's a cop. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Blah, blah. Just how trusting everyone is. Everyone is extremely patient and trusting. And I get it. This is a small southern town in the 80s. It's not like today where you'd be highly suspicious, and there would be no reason to doubt, who this person was. Oh, yeah, this is a guy in a cop car. He's a police officer. But just it always cracks me up where he's like, step out of the car, and he gets out of the car and he's
his whole place still sober.
Right. I'm like, dude, I mean, as soon as you got that thing near my face, I would just be like, hey, what the fuck? Get the fuck off. Like, get away from me.
But you know what it is? Like, he's so unsettling, but I figured out what it was. It's the eye contact. Like, it's the barely blinking, like, not even like distracted by anything surrounding you. I'm just staring you in the face, like eye contact. It's so unsettling, but at the same time, it's kind of like mesmerizing, like hypnotic. Right. Like later when he's talking to the gas station guy, like the gas station attendant. The gas station attendant is so unsettled by him, but he can't look away. Like he's just so. This is something that he's never seen before. Like this guy's got a presence, and the reason he's got the presence is because he can't look away.
Right? Yeah. It's kind of like look into my eyes. Like you don't want to look at it, but at the same time, this guy's probably like, who the fuck is this dude?
And not to mention, like he looks weird. Like his hair, like it's all like what the fuck?
Right. The hair, the voice, I mean, everything,
Right.
especially when you see the oxygen tank, because your first thought isn't going to be, oh, wow, this is, a cattle killer. You're going to think, oh, what does this guy have, some kind of like health problem? It's
Right,
like,
that's what I thought.
right. It's not the first thing that you think of. But either way,
it's so memorable. Like the weapon is so fucking memorable because I've never seen it in any other movie or any other movie since. Like, it's crazy.
right. The only time I can think of any movie even using something like this is the new It movie, because it's a cattle,
Right.
it's literally a cattle killer. But but basically, after we get our introduction to Shigur, we're introduced to Llewellyn Moss, who's played by the incredible Josh Brolin. Everything from the Goonies to Sicario, Avengers. This guy's been in fucking everything, killing it. He's just had a revival in the last few years, dude. And he's in this McConaughey, like Matthew McConaughey, whatever McConaughey kind of thing. Yeah,
Brolin-naissance. But like he brings such a great sort of gravitas to his roles. Like. And look, I've beaten it to death, but Sicario is my favorite fucking movie of all time. But he's, like I said, he's overshadowed in that movie by Del Toro. But the second movie, the sequel, while the movie isn't as strong, that's totally Josh Brolin's movie. Like he commands that scene. Like he commands every scene he's in. Like he plays this kind of like spook, like this government agent who's kind of like he has like crazy motivations, but like. He commands every scene that he's in, and like I can even like argue as Thanos, man. Like you're kind of like stealing the show from people like Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America. Like obviously you're this big giant CGI creature, but like you totally see like Brolin under there. Like at least I do. Like, you know what I mean?
No, for sure. Especially in the eyes and just the face. And
right.
I mean, obviously the face is about the only real part of him, but
right.
But there's.
This is. Oh no! Were you going to talk more about Brolin? I was going to.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say his voice. Like there's something. There's.
This drawl.
Yeah, I mean, especially as Thanos, but in this, take you in that back room and screw you. He's got this. I mean, and this is just from my own personal thing. I don't know what's the farthest south that you've been in the States.
Probably Washington.
Oh, okay, cool. So not
I've never been in the middle. I've been on the coast. Like the closest to the middle I've been is Vegas.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that I've never been to Texas. I've never I've met plenty of people from Texas. I've got family members that actually do that have picked up and moved there. But these guys are so fucking believable. Like I said this before when you and Danny and I did Collateral and we talked about Jamie Foxx in that movie. Like he is so believable. I feel like I've worked with that guy at some point. And these guys are so believable. Like Llewellyn Moss. Like I can think of 5 guys at work that are just like this dude, 100% just like this dude. And he is so real and lived into
Sells
me.
It. Yeah,
yeah, he absolutely does. Especially with with the scene that's coming up as he's hunting. He's got the rifle on the boot. He's proficient. I mean, I don't get the whole picking up the shells thing. I guess that's just I never really got that. Like, I don't know if that's just you just don't leave your shells out for whatever reason.
I guess he just doesn't want to fucking litter or something. I don't know.
Right. I'm not a big gun guy. I was never in the military. I don't really know. But yeah, basically we see him out there hunting. He missed.
This is the part that I was going to mention, especially with Red Dead. And I'm going to bring up Rockstar Games again, unfortunately, but it's just going to happen. This, because like Red Dead, a big part of it is hunting, and when you go out to hunt deer, like when Moss is like aiming through the scope and like he's got it like right on the neck. I'm like, I did this yesterday in a game. Because Red Dead makes it a point. It's like you either got to shoot it in the head or the neck. You don't want it to suffer, and right. Dude. It's so heartbreaking when you accidentally shoot the deer, because it's so realistic. You shoot the deer and it doesn't die, and you take your horse and you rock up to the deer and it's making this fucking noise like it doesn't get out.
Yes. Oh,
it's so
dude.
Heartbreaking, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my Red Dead little fucking side.
Yeah. This show brought to you by Rockstar Games. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. We're not being paid, but yeah.
Yeah. but yeah, basically, we see him kind of hunting and misses a shot, but obviously we can tell that he is proficient with a weapon. We learn later he's got a military background. He's in Vietnam.
He can track.
Right, yeah, and he's got this great, strong silence about him, which I just think is fantastic. I think it's one of his best attributes. Is he gets so much across without saying hardly anything. Just by body language, I mean the tone of his voice. But after he goes, I guess he's going to track the deer. That's where he sees this dog that has no earthly business being out in the middle of this place. It looks like one of Satan's lapdogs. It's like, dude, this dog has a pit bull with clipped ears. Like, dude, this has no earthly fucking business out here. But he tracks it back to this horrible drug deal gone wrong, and I love just these happenstance things in movies where people just happen across things like this. Right. I fucking love that shit, dude. I think it's great.
This is the second and last time I'll bring up Rockstar games. Like this. Did you play Grand Theft Auto 5?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, so there is, in that game when there's you're driving along and there's a random moment, like someone will flag you down or something.
Yeah.
There's heaps of those in Red Dead, by the way. But anyway, so as you're driving along in this sort of desert part of the city, because I think it's north or some shit, you happen along this scene. It is literally, everything is meticulously detailed. The bodies are on the floor. The bodies are in the car. There's one guy actually, his head is on the steering wheel, it's honking the horn. So you rock up to this crazy scene, and it's from No Country because there's a red pickup truck there is in this. And you walk down the hill, and there's a guy kind of dying slowly, and he's like, "Please don't take the money, don't take the money." And you walk up to him, and there's fucking $25,000. It's crazy, dude. It's such a
Holy
crazy
shit.
It's literally this scene, and you drive off. It's amazing. It's just so well done.
It's crazy. I'm on my second playthrough of that game, and I've never come across that shit.
Well, I can tell you exactly where it is off air. It's near that fucking army base.
Okay. Yeah, Zancudo or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I spent too much time chasing Bigfoot in Grand Theft Auto 5 trying to figure out if that was real or not. But yeah, this is, some of my favorite parts of the movie because, we see the bodies everywhere. Something's gone horribly wrong. We find the heroin first, agua, this guy asking for agua. And this guy ends up being the whole reason why the movie even starts getting moved forward. Except for, they really wouldn't have been able to find him, I guess, except for the tracker. But in a way, this guy kind of saves his life because the guilt brings him back. And, kind of when we can get into that, I don't want to get too far ahead. But I think that this guy kind of saves him in a way because he comes back out of guilt, and he comes back and he's like, okay, cool. So he gets separated in a way, but it's good that he gets separated because he's able to realize, oh shit, they can track me even if I hadn't gone back. He understands that now from them chasing him this whole time. But either way, this is a great scene. Agua, I told you I ain't got no water. I fucking love that shit, dude.
I love that Llewellyn is you can see the cog spinning in his head, but he's unfazed by it. He's seen violence before. Right,
yeah, exactly. He understands the nature of this. He gets it.
Ain't no Lobos.
Yeah, right. What is Lobos? Is that wolves? I
wolf.
Think?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yo hablo un poquito español, pero no mucho. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not much.
Dude, all I did was Google Lobos after that's all I did.
That's like that time. What episode you started just speaking Italian? And I was like, what the fuck?
He's speaking in tongues.
Yeah, right. But basically, I love that, Ultimo Hombre, trying to figure out where the last man standing was, tracks him to the tree and watches that motherfucker die.
Yes. I love how much time the Coens take with these kind of moments.
Yes.
In my head, dude, when I went to watch this again last night, I thought this was a 2.5 hour movie, but it's not. It's just because we get a lot of these drawn out scenes. It's a 2 hour movie. It's very tight. But we get a lot of these drawn out scenes where it just takes its time. It takes its time follows this character, doesn't spoon feed you. Like, we see everything the character sees, like you said, show don't tell. And man, like, I love this scene with the where he sees him like under the tree. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, just checks his watch, looks back, dude's head's just slumped over. He's like, all right, going back, going over there. And I love, he takes the pistol, and finds the money, and his reaction when he finds the money, just, yep, mm-hmm. It just kind of like, because
right.
he fucking knows, dude.
Because he suspected it.
Right, yeah.
He suspected it already.
That's like the whole reason that he's out here. He's like, dude, I know that this shit is out here somewhere. I would have rolled up on that thing and be like, the fuck out of here, dude. Like, no way. But I gotta ask you, at this point, would you take the money?
I was gonna ask you the same thing, and I wouldn't. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I would. I'd think it through. Like, look at the fucking scene that just happened down there. Like, I don't think I would. And like, it'll be stupid to think that, like, this money's not marked, which it is. These Mexicans didn't tell anyone else that they were coming to this deal. Like these guys have bosses. Like, it's not. There are far-reaching consequences, and I think this is obviously what this movie's about. Like, it's all about consequences and things like that, and fate, and so I really wouldn't. I think how much is in there? $2 million, I think he says. Like, that's a crazy amount of money. That's a life-changing amount of money.
Especially 1980, $2 million. Right. We're talking like what, right. Like probably like 6 or 7 today.
Right, exactly. And it's just, yeah, I don't know if I'd do it. Well, what about you? I don't think I would.
My first reaction is fuck yeah, but then I mean, part of me is just thinking logistically. It's like, man, I don't know. Again, like you said, this money could just be counterfeit. Maybe that's what the whole fight is about. The fact that they're like, hey, this is bullshit. Even later when he starts flipping through the stacks, it goes from hundreds to like ones really fast. And I'm like, oh, dude, so maybe that's what they started getting pissed about. Like, I don't really know. I'm at least taking a stack, dude. I'm fucking for sure taking a stack.
That's what I was going to say. I'd take a stack or two, and then I'd report it to the police. Right. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, I found this much.
Right. You like roll up to the police station and be like, and there was $40,000 missing. Do you know what happened? And you have like a fur coat and a top hat and like a grill and like a Rolls Royce.
It was pretty windy that day. Maybe it fucking flew off.
Yeah, right. And you literally like get in a jetpack and like like fly off.
See ya.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't, part of me is like, no, I really don't think I would, but it's, man, working 40, 50 hours a week and waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you see $2 million sitting in front of you. You're like, I don't know. I was like, I might, I could do a lot with help. Give me 10 grand of that, dude, and I can get a lot of shit done. Like, I'd be totally fucking cool with that.
Right. We made Carla Jane. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Carla Jane?
I like her a lot. I'm used to this actress from Trainspotting. I haven't really seen her in a shit. Kelly MacDonald.
Yeah, she's British as shit.
Yeah, right. I haven't really seen her in a whole lot else. She's gorgeous, dude.
I've only seen her in Harry Potter. Yeah, she's in the final Harry Potter movie.
Really?
But she's definitely gorgeous. She's great in this, man, especially in that last scene.
Oh, like, yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the last scene, like the scene before this. I was like, no. Dude, she hasn't been in any other scenes. But yeah, their chemistry is just absolutely great because I think on the surface, someone might think that this is just a dead end thing and they kind of hate each other and blah, blah. I don't think that. I think that, they've probably gone through some rough stuff. They both work 40, 50 hours a week. They live in a trailer, in Texas. They're not. I mean, it's not like they're wearing the money. It's not like they're. it's not like they're just like living it up. But they.
You know what I love? Where'd you get that pistol? At the Getting place.
Yeah. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. That speak, and I know that fucking I know that plenty of people who are listening to this, they're from the South, can probably attest to how much people really do like talk like that, especially older people. Now, not so much, but older people, like there's this insanely cool way of talking that, and some of them, they can't fucking string along 2 sentences together. I work with plenty of people like that. But there's this kind of...
Cletus the slack-jawed yokel?
Right, yeah. Like Cletus the slack-jawed yokel. Yeah. But at the same time, a lot of these guys, they're good at bullshitting. they're really good at bullshitting with other people, you know, at work or, you know, at church, and shaking hands and saying hello and blah, 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 you know, and, and stuff like that. Like I went to a small church growing up in the middle of the South, maybe 100 people, record attendance ever. And these people were so good at this kind of talk of just polite, bullshitting, funny chit chat kind of thing. And not too serious, but not too funny. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's this great kind of like Southern, like the Southern jive kind of thing of being able to keep conversations, and it's just kind of like a Southern hospitality kind of thing, like a Southern charm that apparently we're so known for. I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about it in Django, right? Like, because that's what Leonardo's character on the surface has.
Right.
But yeah, I do love their like interplay. You keep running that mouth, I'm going to take you in the back and screw you. Big talk, just keep it up. Fine, I don't want to know. I don't even want to know where you've been all day. That'll work.
Yeah, dude, that'll work. I love that, man.
Great, good stuff.
But yeah, you know, we see him hiding the. I'm just gonna call it an MP5K from Call of Duty. That's the best thing I know it as.
Pretty much.
But it also, I don't want to skip past that because it also implies the guilt. It also implies the fact that you know how wrong it is what you're doing. Like you can't be, as much as we want to keep him above these people, and he is to some degree. Like he's also in this. Maybe he's not a card-carrying member of this club,
partially complicit in it, right?
Right. It's like, dude, you're not a member, but you're at the fucking meeting for sure. Yep. You know. But that's when, you know, we get him waking up in the middle of the night, and just again, it's always like he's talking to himself. He just, all right, you know, and gets out and just goes for it. And I think that's great. I love that. Just this, so many people I know like this, just this strong, silent kind of guy. But you know, waking up and filling up the water, you know, and taking it out to the guy. Hey, that dude is fucking dead, man. Like, it's been 12 hours since you've been out there.
It's fucking, like, it's 4 a.m. I'm sure the coyotes got to him.
I'm passing this dude on the way to work, and he's fucking going out there and trying to get this guy water. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? That guy's dead as shit. I'm sure there are vultures
circling and shit. Like,
yeah, right. But I mean, but it also, you know, you do. It gives you something to kind of like, okay, well, he's not a terrible person, you know. It gives him a little bit more of the if you know,
a little bit more attachment.
Right, he's starting to turn towards Sith, but now he's starting to get a couple more points towards Jedi. You know, but yeah, I love the scene with, you know, if I don't come back, tell Mother I love her. Llewellyn, your mom's dead. You know, and like, I fucking love that. I don't know why it's like he forgot his mom was dead, or is that just, you know, I don't know. Is he well aware of that? You know, and he's like, yes, I know she's dead. This should imply that maybe I'm not coming back, kind of thing. But I love. He's like, well, hell, I'll tell her myself then. You know, and walks off. But I love this next scene. It has one of the best shots of the movie for me. You know, he rolls up, he's got the water, parks his truck, turns his shoulder, one truck, goes back to what he's doing, you know, turns around 2 seconds later, 2 trucks. And I was like, oh God. And you can literally.
And silhouettes, right? You can see like people.
And I mean, and literally seeing the car, just like you can hear them slashing the tires, and, you know, you see the car like deflating down. It's like, oh shit. But yeah, just, I mean, an epic fucking chase. These guys, holy shit. I mean, just all the lights on the truck. I was like, dude, these guys are fucking ready for this shit, man.
Right.
And I absolutely love that. This is totally the hunting party.
Right. I was going to say, man, like, they just start shooting at him. And, like, you don't hear the first gunshot. Like, you see Llewellyn run away, and you just see the dirt just like spike up, like just the bullet like hit him like right next to him. Right. And I'm like, holy fuck, these guys they're not gonna even ask like questions. Like, they're just gonna start firing. Right.
It's like, dude, if this guy's out here, you know, it's like, because he understands, they all understand the nature of what's going on. It's like, dude, you wouldn't be out here at 3 o'clock in the morning unless you had some kind of dirty pool with this, you know.
Right. Can we talk about the dog?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, it does make me sad about the dog because just like, I would have loved if the dog ran up and at the last second he just threw down the gun and was like, and just started like tickling the dog and playing with him. I don't want to go past the shot of him running and the lightning in the distance. Totally not digital, just a fucking great.
Oh, really?
I believe just a beautiful mistake that happened. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking amazing. That's fucking gravy, dude.
Amazing. But yeah, before Moss dives into the river, he fucking cops the buckshot right to his left elbow, fucking whatever, shoulder blade.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, he dives into the river, and like this scene is so like drawn out, but I love it because it's just so, because what the Coens do, man, they create tension. But it's not like, you know, the music is like spiking and, you know, the way it's shot is like crazy. It's more about like just things happening on screen. Like everything is like in camera.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see the dog like paddling its way. Oh, like, you're like, oh shit, it's gonna get him. It's literally gonna get him. And dude, I love like Brolin here, man. Like he takes the slide off, blows into it, and fucking bang straight into the abdomen.
Yeah, like oh my God, like seconds before this thing is about to turn your face into spaghetti.
Right. Any time a dog dies in a movie, I cry a little.
Yeah, I mean, like it kind of makes me sad. The most famous
is I Am Legend, yeah.
Right, but the first thing I thought when he walked up on the scene, I was like, God damn, I guess all dogs do go to heaven. Fuck, dude. Like, like Jesus. But yeah, we see him, you know, pulling the slugs out of his shoulder, making shoes out of t-shirts. It's like, dude, in like another reality, Josh Brolin should have played John Rambo in First Blood. Like, that would have been fucking awesome.
I'll be there for the reboot.
Hell yeah, dude. I wouldn't mind that one goddamn bit, dude. You tell me Josh Brolin's the new Rambo, I'm fucking there, man. I'm like, hell yeah.
You know what? Fucking Josh Brolin for every role ever. I'm down.
Yeah, right. Josh Brolin as Marty McFly. Doc, we got to get back to 1985. That would be so good. Just Josh Brolin be like, hey, homie, is that my briefcase? You know, like just lines and shit. Oh, that'd be so fun.
My God.
I think we're going to need a bigger boat.
Oh,
hi, welcome back to Midnight Double Feature, and this is called Josh Brolin's Graggly Ass Voice. I love it though, man. I mean, because I'm not a big fan of like tough guys in movies, you know, but he is such a believable tough guy. Like he is. Like I don't mind it. He's not the ultimate badass. He's not unstoppable. He's been fucking shot already. Like it's like, dude, this guy is in some deep shit.
Right.
But yeah,
we get the gas station scene.
Yes. Oh my God. I actually had a friend, actor friend of mine named Jesse, who met this guy who was behind the counter. He actually he got to talk to him, and he was like, so he's like, what was going on the whole time? He's like, oh, the Coen brothers are just like, they're like 10 feet behind like a little rack, and they're just like squatting down, and they weren't watching anything. They were listening. He's like, they just sat there and listened the whole time. And I was like, wow, that's fucking cool.
Amazing.
So, I'm fortunate enough to have some friends that have done like a few acting things, and have met some really cool people and have some really cool stories. That's just like one of them. But I thought that was so cool. They listen. They didn't sit there and, you know, and you can, again, the audio in this, I mean, there's only like 16 minutes of actual score in this movie, I think. And what really kills me, I mean, is it's really the way that the people talk, and they're extras. The way they cast extras, the Coen brothers, if there should be an award for an Oscar for best extra casting. Dude, these people crush it. Every single one of them, from O Brother Where Art Thou to Fargo, all of their extras just crush this shit. And I wouldn't even really, I guess you'd call this guy just kind of like an extended extra or like a featured extra, I guess. I don't know, just like a small bit
just
role.
A little cameo. But I mean, dude, what business is it of yours where I'm from, friendo?
Yeah, he's a friendo. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Just the way that guy talks is so good. He's like, we raised a family there in Temple.
Yeah, so nice, dude. Like, so kind. You know, like, just Just so kind.
Everybody is so soft-spoken and just like patient,
Right.
you know?
Right. Patient, yeah.
But I love, I mean, this whole scene you could just talk about for days, you know, basically sugar, you know, 69 cents for the peanuts, you're getting gas from where you're coming from, what business year is where I'm from, you know, and just slowly, I mean, we're ratcheting up the intensity, but this guy has no idea. I mean, he doesn't really have
tension.
Right, yeah. He doesn't have any idea until he's just like, you know, and he's like, well, it's just passing the time. If you don't want that, well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, the guy's voice is so great. This guy could put me to sleep like that. Like that motherfucker could knock me out, man.
Lindsay walks into your room one day and this guy's reading you a fucking storybook and you're tucked in bed.
yeah, just like a little nightcap on. But yeah, you know, I don't.
What time do you close? Now we close now. Now is not a time. What time do you close?
Around dark, generally around. It's like fucking 2:30 in the afternoon, dude.
Right,
and you're trying to tell him, you're trying to tell him you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, I don't understand the motivation to kill this guy. I don't know if it's just because he's annoyed by him. I mean, I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole of Sugar, but I do think that he kind of views all of these other people as insects in a way. He's just kind of like, what are you? Why are you doing this? You know?
Right, I completely agree. And like, I kept on comparing him to the Joker. The Joker wants chaos and anarchy. And I feel like Sugar, like while he's a bit more methodical than the Joker, he kind of wants that too in a way. Like he's got like no regard for human life. Like everything, like you said, man, he's a force of nature. He just comes in, does his shit, and goes home. Like he's kind of like Michael Myers in that way.
Yeah.
Like except you know he can't go home, but like still, like it's just it's so. It's crazy because like this is such a unique villain, and it's so hard to get a handle on him. And I think that's what half of this movie is about. Like half of it is like literally the audience, the Coens like provoking the audience and being like, try and figure out this guy. Let's see if they can figure him out. Like because like he's such an enigma.
Right. Yeah. I think that I disagree and agree at the same time with that. Like, I believe he wants disorder and chaos in the way that things are now. But I think that he obviously has a moral code. He obviously has, you know, like some, he's got his virtues that are incorruptible. He's like, he can't be bought. He can't be, you know, he can't be bribed. He can't be stolen. You know, he can't be destroyed. You know,
by the way, you just quoted The Dark Knight.
I know. I realized it about halfway into it. Like, I feel like I've said this before. But I think that he wants the way that things are now, you know, kind of like crushed down, because I could see him being like, what does happen can happen. He's like, we're not going to sit here and act like we have all this valor and all this other stuff. He's like, we're animals. You know, we are, you know, that's basically all that we are. And he's like, and I think that there's something about his moral compass that's really interesting to me, because he has pride. Like, he is a fucking professional. Like, he is good at his job. Like, it's crazy, you know, because he's just sane enough to make it through the day of dealing with people. But at the same time, you know, could you imagine like what this guy would be like if he picked up some chick at a bar? You know, it's like, holy shit, I can imagine what this guy would be like once you got him back to the hotel. Like, this dude would be fucking terrifying. But I think that there's something about him that's so great, because in a society where people hold his kind of values and his kind of virtues the same way that he holds them, you know, he would be top dog. You know, he would be this awesome, you know, he would be like the alpha dog in this kind of thing. But he's so, I don't know, his whole thing it's just kind of luck and chance, and what do you really make of it? And that does get challenged at the end, and I really, really like that, and we can cross that bridge when we come to it. But we kind of see a little bit of that here, you know, where I guess he wants to kill the dude just because he starts getting annoyed, you know, because he's like, you know, so you married into it.
Yeah, which is what Carson Wells says later. Like, if you inconvenience him, or if you kind of annoy him, like, he'll just, you know, he'll fucking hurt you.
Right. It's like swatting a fly.
Right. And there's one thing that I do want to mention here as well that I don't want to go past. I feel like Sugar, either he envies normal life or he hates it. Because
I'd say he hates that shit.
Yeah, because I'm coupling it up with the scene later when he's sitting in the couch and watching, like, sort of like looking at the TV, and he's kind of like contemplating it. But here, like, he chokes when he like hears the guy, talks about his wife and how he's been here for so long, but he chokes after that, like after hearing about this guy's like normal life. Like, what do you think about that?
I took it as him just being like, wow, you could marry into anything, and you married into this gas station. Like, it's kind of like, I think he looks at it like it's pathetic.
Like pathetic, yeah. Like he pities him.
Right. And I mean, he even says, he's like, so you married into it. And he's like, I mean, if you won't look at it that way, I don't have any way of looking at it. That's just the way that it is. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like that.
You do it so well.
No, thank you.
I don't know if you're doing Anton Chigurh or Buffalo Bill.
Oh yeah, put some lotion in the fucking basket.
Lord, you fuck me.
Fuck me. But yeah, I really like. Now, God damn it! Now all I'm thinking is like Anton Chigurh is like a phone sex operator. But what is the most you would pay for a blowjob? But God damn it, I'm gonna have that stuck in my head, just like bit after bit. But this whole scene is so great. I think this is one of the, probably this most standout scene in the movie, to be honest. I mean, it's the most memorable, it's the most quotable of this movie.
But it's also one of the most that you kind of learn the most about Chigurh. Like, you learn a lot about him in this interaction.
Right. He's saying, the coin, it's been traveling however many years, like 22 years to get here, and here it is, so you have to call it. I have to know what I stand to win. You stand to win everything, call it. It's like, holy shit, man, but the guy has no idea, you get this wrong, this dude's going to come and blow your brains out. Like, my only question is, he flips it, says he gets it right, boom, see you later. Don't put it in your pocket, don't put it in your pocket. It'll just become another, it'll get lost and just become another quarter. Which it is. I'm like, oh shit, dude.
Fucks with him.
But I love what Carla Jean says at the end. She's like, that quarter doesn't have anything to do with it. It's you. Yeah, she's like, it's you. So, like, I guess that this dude, even, he could say, if it's heads, I'll let him go. But if it pops up tails, he's just going to shoot him. He'd just be like, nah, it's tails, whatever.
You know what, man? We've brought it up before, but fucking Dark Knight, doesn't he remind you of Two-Face with the coin? And
Kinda.
When the coin burns, Two-Face has the two sort of like options, but like when he's Harvey Dent, like both sides are the same, and it's Harvey Dent making the decision. Like, it's not the coin, like it's actually him like deciding, like, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to flip a coin just to make it look sort of dramatic. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I've already made up my mind, kind of thing.
Right. Oh, and I don't want to go past, I'm sorry, I skipped past this. After Brolin gets home, and tends to his wounds, he sends Carla Jean to Odessa to be with her mother.
That's after this scene.
Oh, is it after it? Sorry.
Yeah. That's right here, right where we are now.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, actually, never mind then. That's what I meant to do. But, yeah, sure, fuck it, whatever. But the thing that I find really interesting that I don't quite understand, why does he shoot these two guys to bring him out into the desert? Because is it because they hire, like, is it because they hire somebody else? I don't understand.
So do these two work for the DEA?
I don't know. I assume that they work for the company that Stephen Root, the guy he runs into the office and shoots in the face.
Which, by the way, is hilarious that Stephen Root is in this as well.
Fucking dude. I mean, what God, we're starting
like another dramatic role.
Right, yeah. Stephen Root is starting to become like the Richard Jenkins of this podcast. Like, he's just going to start popping up. But yeah, I don't really understand why he shoots these two guys. I don't know if it's just because I
don't know either. I think it's just more. Well, I can see it from like the Coen Brother standpoint. Like, we're gonna make this guy fucking like crazy. Number one, like these are obviously two authority types, but number two, I think it might be also like he wants no witnesses. Because I think some of it, man, like I think some of it he wants the money for himself.
You think so? Because I was wondering about that. Is this just his is this his point where he's like, listen, I know that if I take this money and run, they're probably not going to send anybody after me. I'm fucking Anton Chigurh. He's like, dude, I'll fucking obliterate you. I heard something funny Ted Nugent said the other day. He said, you know who Ted Nugent is?
Barely.
A musician, but he said, I'm sorry, this is so random, but he was like, I will fucking eat you and your family tree and shit out sawdust. Like this dude would eat your fucking family tree and shit out your sawdust. Like, he knows they're not going to send anybody after him. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does take the money, but I'm pretty sure in the novel he is just hired by somebody and he delivers the money at the end of the novel. I think. I haven't read it. That's just something I read off the internet. So obviously it's true, but
I don't know. I just have I have like a feeling like he kills these two, kind of like a no witnesses sort of situation. He goes and kills Stephen Root. Although he kills Stephen Root because he gave the Mexicans a transponder.
Right. That I understand. He got somebody else involved.
Right. I also kind of think it might also lend to a no witnesses situation. I don't know. Because Chigurh kills these two. He kills Stephen Root. He kills Brolin. He kills Carson Wells. There is no one to tie him to this money.
Right. Yeah. That's the only thing that threw me off is, but somebody knows that he's been hired, even if he shoots these two guys. They're just the ones driving him out there. Like, somebody else has probably put, somebody else has probably put the hit out.
It definitely is a crazy sort of rabbit hole question.
Right, yeah. If anybody's got an answer, please email us. Let us know.
Fucking send us. Yeah, put it on Facebook. I want to know people's thoughts, because this is it's a challenging part of the movie, but I think it's done intentionally. But yeah, this scene is crazy, man. Just the way he executes these two.
Yeah, fucking shoots one guy in the chest, shoots the other one in the head, and then that's pretty much that. He just, he gets the
transponder. Yeah,
and he gets the VIN number off of Llewellyn's truck. Yeah. And then after that, we're kind of introduced.
Hold this, please.
Yeah. Is this where we're first introduced for the real first time to Bell? Yeah, we've heard the monologue, but we haven't seen him yet. I fucking
melting candle.
Yeah, I fucking love Tommy Lee Jones, just like a sad pumpkin. It's like this guy is fucking great.
See, I've been doing re-listens to Hey Do You Remember This podcast, and I was listening to Men in Black, and it just kind of inspired me to watch Men in Black again. And I watched Men in Black before I watched this movie, and he's so surly in Men in Black, and he's so surly in this. I'm like, do you ever smile?
Right, and it's actually crazy drawing lines here. Josh Brolin is a young. He has a young version of him in Men in Black 3. I just totally forgot about that.
And he's great in that.
I haven't seen it.
He's great. He plays a young Tommy Lee Jones so well.
I just from the trailer, I was like, dude, he's knocked that out. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, he's crushing it. But this is where we're first introduced to Sheriff Bell. We see that they found this car on fire, but also at the same time, not too far away from that is where we have our whole OK Corral, as they call it.
Right. You know what, man? I love Bell's dialogue. He's still discovering, there's this whole thing that lends to him, discovering this new sort of way of crime. When he's looking at the car, he's like, you wouldn't think a car would burn like that. It's kind of lending to this, this thing that he hasn't really come across. This is the first time I've seen something like this, and he doesn't understand it. It's just little things like that add to his character so much, and I dig it.
Yeah, right. But
I like Wendell.
Yeah, these guys are just, I don't know, there's something that's just so likable about them. They're just so simple and they're very polite, very to the point with a lot of stuff, especially Tommy Lee Jones. He's, I love just about every bit of his dialogue. It's just absolutely crushing it. And
Wendell's not a typical kind of partner, shitty younger partner. He's fucking clever, man. Later when they discovered the scene, it's Wendell who talks about, these two were fucking executed. like over here. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
He's like, dude, these guys are managerial, and the other guys are all swollen up and bloated and shit. He's like, nah, these are newer bodies. But yeah, they just they find the car, so basically, Sugar killed the deputy, took the deputy's car, killed the guy. Now he switched cars again for God knows what. And has lit this other guy's car on fire. He figures out right away that that's Llewellyn's truck. He's like, I know this truck. It just immediately shows you how small of a town it is. Shows you how close everybody is. Recognizes.
And Wendell asks if he figured him for a dope runner, and he's like, I don't know, but I doubt it. I kindly doubt it.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, basically, it's just a bloodbath. There's not really a shit ton to be taken away from it. Now, hell, they even shot the dog. But yeah, there's really not. It's really not a whole lot to be like taken away from the scene, except for the fact that this is something that I think Bell is like. You would think that he would be used to stuff like this by now, but that's the whole point of the movie is that the savagery of this is just
escalating.
Right? Yes, it's gaining by like leaps and bounds, and it's like,
and
man.
You know what I love? Like, there's no sort of like situation. We don't see the forensics come in and take photos and shit like that, or do like ballistic tests. Like, it's just two fucking lawmen observing the scene, figuring out what's happened, using their fucking instincts and brains. It's great. It's such a great sort of way to show this savagery.
Right. Yeah. And somebody comes and takes the heroin too. I just now caught that. Somebody comes and I assume it's the Mexicans come and pick it back up.
The same guys who shot at thing before. I'm assuming.
Right. But yeah. We've also got. We've got Sugar trying to, come to Llewellyn's place and figure out where he is, sits down, leaves that milk out and starts drinking it. I'm like, dude, nowadays they would just be like, oh, cool, run some DNA on the milk. And then that would be the end of the movie,
Right, exactly.
But yeah, blows the bolt in, just sits there, that whole silhouette in the TV. That shot is fucking great. I love that.
Yeah.
Goes to the office, where does he work? I can't give out no information.
Dude, she's brave, man. She's so brave. She's so staunchly like, no, I can't give you this guy's information.
Right, yeah, this guy would have no issue murdering you and whoever's in the bathroom. Like, you can't see a double murder when it's like 4 feet from your face.
But the toilet flushes and, footsteps in the back and, Sugar reacts and he turns and opens the door and just leaves. He's like,
what's so funny to me is this lady's probably like, showed him. I'm like, oh, bitch, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah. Who's this fucker with the weird haircut? I just showed him.
This guy will swap your eyes and your ovaries like that. You have no fucking clue what this guy is capable of. But
then we get this conversation in the bus.
Yeah, and this is great too. I like this, and it kind of, I like that it shows that Llewellyn is not just this rough and gruff guy all the time. Like, he's charming, man. He's fucking charming. I like their conversation. Because I can't remember exactly what she says. She says something along the lines of. She's like, well, hell, I ain't never been lucky. I work at Walmart. Not anymore, Carla Jean. You are retired. And I'm like, I love that. Yeah. But this whole scene's great, just because he's sending her off. Sorry, I'm used to a lot of things. I work at Walmart. Not anymore, Carla Jean. You are retired. I'm like, dude, I love that. It's great because they never see each other again. Or ever.
Yeah.
They never see each other again, and this is a great moment for this to kind of send off on. Even though we don't know that yet, it's a great moment to send this off on.
Right. And I love the way the scene ends, man. Like, she's scared that he's going to run off or he's going to die. She's like, you're coming back, right? And he's like, I shall return, but he doesn't.
Yeah, right. And that's when we get the sheriffs coming to Llewellyn's place. Obviously, they figure out that the
lock's been fucked up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I love. They're like, what are we looking for here? Looking for a man who has recently drunk milk. Like
right. But see, my first thought was Wendell's thought. I'm like, we've just missed this guy. Let's put out an all points bulletin. Let's fucking track this guy down. And then like Belle's like, hold up, we don't even know what he looks like. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. Like, you know what I mean? Like Wendell's like line of thinking is 100% correct.
Right. Yeah, and we get. We get what is personally one of my favorite lines of the movie. You know, Wendell says, you know, you think this boy Moss got any notion of the sorts of ton of bitches that are hunting him? And that's where, you know, Tommy Lee Jones just pops off and he's like, what do you say? He's like, he's seen the same things I've seen and it certainly made an impression on me. And I'm like, damn, dude, what a great way to summarize this. Cause he's like, dude, you know, I'm in the thick of this right now. I've seen some shit. And I mean, I know Llewellyn has as well. He's a Vietnam vet, but not in the way that like this, you know, you go and you serve 4 to 8 years, like, and I'm sure it was horrendous, you know, especially being in Vietnam, but like the 20 years of just like crime in your own home and having to see that, like, dude, you have no idea. Like these people are like professionals. Like this is not war. This is like a lifestyle. Like that is a totally different ball game.
For sure.
But then, you know, we move on. We see Llewellyn getting, you know, checked into the hotel room. Fucking smart motherfucker, man. You know, takes the vent, puts the thing way far back there.
Right.
I mean, this is where the cat and mouse stuff gets ratcheted up to like 10, and I am fully balls deep in the pussy of this movie right now. Like
right.
I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking good. Because it's just, you know, you don't need anything explained to you. You understand what's going on. You understand why he's doing the things that he's doing. We're not questioning it.
You picked the option with the applicable right.
Oh God, this one again. They're extras. The reason why I love their extras so much is because I hate them so much. It's like, dude, you do such a great job because they're fucking annoying and I don't like any of them.
Right, exactly.
But they just do such a great job. But yeah, I love this because, you know, we basically, you know, we see, Sugar figures out, you know, he looks at their phone bills, sees that there's calls to Odessa, calls Carla Jean's mom, trying to figure out where he is. You know, this guy is just relentless, man. If he gets even a shred of anything on you, if he finds a piece of your cloth somewhere, he will find a way to track you. It's like, fuck, that is terrifying, man. Just the way that this guy just does not stop. And, you know, we get some stuff. We see Llewellyn, you know, taking care of the, you know, the cuts on his feet from walking through the fucking desert with no shoes, buying boots. Like, I like this. It doesn't skim over this kind of stuff. Like, it's not important, but, you know, it's not like we spend 10 minutes on it. You know, we should just show a shot of him having, you know, this is what happens when you play this cat and mouse game. Like, you're constantly under repair. You know, you're constantly having to fix stuff. But you know, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because we're trying to, you know, this is when Llewellyn comes back to the hotel and starts getting some kind of suspicion of what's going on. You know, thinks that somebody's following him or thinks that someone's there. What did you think about this scene?
Yeah, so this is the scene where he's in the cab, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this shit. Like, one thing that fucking irritated me was how fucking uppity the taxi driver was. I'm just like, shut the fuck up and drive this guy where he wants to, man. Like, just he's continuously like, what does he say? He's like, what room? And he's just like, I don't want to get in some kind of jackpot here, buddy. Which is fine. That's fine. But he's just like, why don't I set you down here? We won't argue about. I'm like, just what are you talking about? Like drive your passenger wherever you want, please. But like, yeah, I do agree, man. Like the tension here is outstanding. Like it's fantastic.
Right, yeah. And we also, I mean, we can't go past the fact that Moss, you know, he buys the tent poles, you know, the shotgun, all of that stuff, kind of getting his shit together. And basically, I mean, does he have the money with him right here? And then he drives off, or he just goes and gets another hotel room and leaves the money? Like that's the only thing that kind of confused me is he tells the guy take him to another hotel room, right? Isn't that what, like he pays the cab driver?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the money here. Yeah,
I think he just, you know, he leaves it in the hotel and he comes back for it later.
Right. And that's when we get the, because he doesn't have the money here. He goes back for it later, because after this, we get the point of view from Sugar as like he drives past the motel and the transponder's picking up the signal.
Right, yeah. And then, it's so smart. He's like, I'm just going to leave the money in the vent and then get the room right next to it, the next day and pick it up.
Dude, fucking Sugar shoots that bird while shoots near it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
wild. Completely misses. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think, like, again, I that's another thing where I'm like, oh, this guy's just here to cause trouble.
Right. Yeah, and it's just so odd. Like that scene always through. I mean, it's a beautiful shot. I love the way the Coen brothers shoot that bridge. It looks fucking great. But I love that, basically they're trying to figure out how this guy died on the highway. We get back to Tommy Lee Jones,
Bell and Wendell.
Yeah, and he's like, what was the bullet? There wasn't no bullet. Well, Wendell, that don't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, right. Which does. He's like, you said entrance wound in the forehead, no exit wound. And he's like, yes, sir. Are you telling me he shot this boy in the head and then went fishing around there with the pocket knife?
Yeah, right. He's like, sir, I don't want to picture that. I don't want to either. He's sitting there eating fucking breakfast.
Because the weapon that Sugar carries around, it's nowhere near conventional. Like, it's just it's something that you don't even like think about as a police officer.
Right, yeah, exactly. I think this is actually where
he buys the camping supplies.
Yeah, exactly. He buys all that stuff. He gets the room behind the one. The woman's like, "You want the exact same room?" No, ma'am, just the one behind it.
Got two double beds.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this. That's where we get Sugar starting to kind of like, the transponder goes off. He starts picking him up. What I love is that he basically what he does is Sugar goes and gets the room of his own just to map out his execution.
Right.
Like, holy shit. Talk about fucking methodical, man. Like, I mean,
right. He busts in and like, well, I love how he turns off the light and turns it on again when he busts in, and then like he tests like how sturdy the wall is. Like so he wants to know how sturdy it is and how thick it is, so he knows like whether he can shoot through it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I mean, it looks like cheap paneling. It looks like something you could just blast through, no problem. Because in the Wellens original room, we've got the Mexicans in there now. They've got the transponders. Now we've got two people on the Wellens trail, which is, it would be so funny because you think at some point Sugar would walk in there and just be like, "Oh, hey, what's up? You guys want to work together? You guys want to catch this dude?" Nope. Like he fucking, oh my god, dude. And if there's a scene in this movie that's hard for me to watch, it's him blasting that dude's arm with the shotgun. That's really hard to watch.
By the way, fucking, I've never seen a silenced shotgun before. Even in any of the Call of Duty games never had a silenced shotgun. Like in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 1, like I don't think you could ever silence his shotgun until like Black Ops or some shit like that. Like, I was like, wow, you can do that?
It's funny you say that. The suppressor on Anton Chigurh's shotgun was specially made for the movie. Such a device did not exist, so the Coens had one invented.
That's fucking wild, dude, because it's so crazy, man. Like, I'm just like, this, like, shotguns are ridiculously loud. And, like, I've never heard one, like, in real life, but, like, you can imagine how much force, like, something would need to propel out these like this spray of like bullets at once. And man, like the sound of the shotgun in this, it's like it's fucking crazy.
Right, it's just kind of like a whisper, It
sounds like an alien gun, dude.
Right, and I think that's just so fucking great because, we've got Llewellyn on basically the other side of the wall, getting the cash out. We've got the Mexicans in the room, and then we've got, we've got Sugar like blasting in, and double fisting it too. He's got the fucking oxygen thing in one hand and got the shotgun in the other. I was like, fuck, dude.
One of my favorite shots in the movie, dude, it was when he's walking barefoot, by the way, and he's got the shotgun and he's got the oxygen tank, like. I don't know why. It's just like the double handing of those two weapons. By the way, let's bring it up here. Whenever Sugar goes to kill someone, he takes extra steps not to get any blood on him.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
goes barefoot, takes his socks off. Later, when he kills Carson, he puts his feet up to avoid the blood spatter, the blood pool. And I don't want to talk about Carla Jane yet, but like when he kills this Mexican in the shower, he drapes the curtain first. But yeah, dude, I love this fucking trio just getting absolutely destroyed.
Right, yeah, because I mean, he's a professional. He doesn't want blood all over him. He's like, dude, I can't, I not only is that forensically bad, he's like, but I mean, anybody can see that DNA. I'm fucking covered in blood right now. I still can't get over, dude, turning that guy's arm into shredded cheese with that shotgun. It's really hard to watch.
It looks like a limp dick.
Right, yeah. It's like, dude, this guy, it's like a pasta noodle just gets cooked like instantly, dude. His arm just like, oh man. But the way, he covers that shower curtain and blasts that dude back and shoots through the wall like he knew where the guy was going to be. I'm like, holy fuck, man. I mean,
yeah. But Moss hears the gunfire from one of the Mexicans who goes down.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, he that's but it's also where I think What is it that gives the location away? I think that he sees that one of the screws is turned out of the vent, or he sees that one of the screws is gone. But I mean, either way, I mean, this guy, you would have to be so hyper observant to catch that. I think he sees that the paneling is like up a little bit. It's like not on as tight as it should be. And that's where, these guys are all detectives, man. There's no evidence that there's been anything in that vent except for the fact that there's the trails through the dust of Llewellyn pulling the satchel back through. I'm like, holy shit, man. I just think that's so fucking good. But Llewellyn gets the fuck out of Dodge, and I don't goddamn blame him. Gets the fuck out of there, and then now we're introduced to Woody Harrelson, who is Carson Wells. What do you think of Carson Wells? Do you like this character? What do you think?
I do like him. He's in this a lot less than I initially remembered, because I thought Woody was, and it's funny because like Woody Harrelson's a pretty big actor. Like it's surprising that they use him so sparingly. By the way, it's so weird to see Woody Harrelson clean shaven. Everything I've seen him in lately, he's sporting a beard. Like in 3 Billboards, he's kind of got like a little bit of stubble. Fucking Wolf of Planet of the Apes, but yeah, like I really like him, man. I love Woody Harrelson in everything. It's only after True Detective season 1 that I was like, holy shit, Woody Harrelson is fucking fantastic. But yeah, he's great in this. But I think out of all 4 of the main characters, he's the weakest. He kind of only sort of like exists just to tell us how dangerous this guy is.
Right, exactly. We need someone from that world to be like, it's kind of like seeing another Spartan talk about Master Chief, be like, dude, like that's the fucking, that guy's the shit. I love this interaction between him and Stephen Root. He sits down, he's like, did I tell you to sit down? He's like, no, but you don't strike me as a man who would like to waste a chair. I was like, God damn, dude, what a good put down.
I'm just wondering, like, is this right here? Is this where we are? I thought the shootout happens first with Moss and Sugar. Is that
no? That's a little bit later on. He gets the cab and gets the fuck out of Dodge, and that's where we start meeting. We meet Carson Wells and Stephen Root, which I still.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I love this whole thing between them. He's I saw him November 28th. He seemed pretty sure of the date. He's like, I saw him November 20. This guy's this guy's like an army colonel. This guy's probably got a fucking great memory, especially for times and dates. He's probably very meticulous. But basically, I mean, they hire Carson Wells to bring in Chigurh, I think.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. But like, is Carson Wells a DEA agent?
I think he's just another hitman. I think. I think he's just like Chigurh, but he's, he's not just like Chigurh, because he even says, he's like, what do you think? What do you make of Chigurh? He's like, what do I think about him? He's like, he's like, what's your overall impression? Is he dangerous compared to what? The bubonic plague? He just starts going on about how he's bad enough that you called me in here. So if it's like, dude, if this guy is obviously getting out of hand and wrapping the wrong knuckles, we need somebody to go in there and set this right, and he just straight up says, yeah, but he's a psychopathic killer. So what? There's plenty of them around. Yeah. And, oh, go ahead.
I think Wells is a DEA agent.
Do you think so? I didn't know because for one thing, I don't see how he can be, because everything that's going on is so fucking illegal. And they're paying him. He said something like $1,200 an hour or something like that, and like he's being paid by the hour for this. Like he knows. And Stephen Root even says, he's like, dude, he killed, 2 goat fuckers out in the middle of the desert, and killed all these people. I think Carson Wells is definitely being sent there to A, retrieve the money, and B, kill Anton Chigurh, because they're like, dude, we're just trying to get our money back.
I think you might be right. The reason why I'm saying he's a DEA agent is because like later, when Bill, I think he's in his office, he's kind of like writing in that book. There's that lady Molly. She's like, that DEA agent called again. You don't want to talk to him? Like I just kind of assumed that was him.
No. I think that's that's a guy that they referenced when they're sitting in the diner earlier on. He talks about digging in there.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I love it. Can you validate my parking ticket? And attempted humor, I suppose. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Dig it.
But yeah, I love this. I tell you what, do you want to go ahead and take a break here? We're about the halfway point. We're about to get into some heavy shit. I wouldn't mind taking a break, refilling our coffees, emptying our bladders.
Fuck yeah, man.
That's cool. Well, we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Let me ask you something. What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss?
Look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything. Just call it friendo.
Willin, what's in the satchel?
It's full of money.
He's just a guy who happened to find that money.
I got a bad feeling, Llewellyn.
It's a mess, ain't it, Sheriff?
If it ain't, it'll do till the mess gets here.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
You go up to his trailer.
Yes.
Do you want to leave a message?
Yes.
If I don't come back, you tell Mother I love her.
Your mother's dead.
Well, then I'll tell her myself.
Got a loose cannon here.
You think this boy Moss has got any notion of the sorts that are hunting him?
I don't know, he ought to. He's seen the same things I've seen, and it certainly made an impression on me.
Just how dangerous is it?
Compared to what? The bubonic plague?
The crime you see now, it's hard to even take its measure. It's just all out war.
You can't stop what's coming.
Is this guy supposed to be the ultimate badass?
You don't understand.
Call it. Call it.
Hey guys, what's going on? We are back. We've got our drinks filled. We've got our bladders emptied, as you all are used to hearing on this show. And yeah, we're ready to jump back in because this is a really big scene. Definitely
probably the biggest scene.
Yeah, definitely the biggest like turning point. This is where we go from like 7 to 11 like that. We're ratcheting up things like crazy. And especially after like such a crazy scene beforehand, we're like following that back to back with like another one. I think it really gives you the feeling that, it gives you this kind of this kind of anxiety that Llewellyn must have, because it's like, dude, this dude is like hot on your fucking heels. Like, he is right behind you. Like I said earlier, you might be one step ahead of him, but it's not like, oh, I'm one step ahead of you where I can defeat you at every turn. It's like, no, I'm barely surviving by like time. That's all. Like, I don't have skill, I don't have resources and all this stuff. Like, all I have is time. Like, that's all I have ahead of you. It's like, holy shit.
I love this moment of Llewellyn, pretty much like before when he takes that guy to get the water to that guy. He's like, there just ain't no way, because like he's like, this guy, like, I don't know how he found me, I don't know how they found me. Something's up, and he just sits up, looks through the cache, then he finds the transponder. And dude, like you mentioned earlier, like when there's like a stack of $1 bills. I'm like, really? $1?
Right. I'm like, I mean, what did it? Hey, do you guys mind giving me some change? I have to go, blah, 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 like put some air in my tires. They're like, the guys are like making change right there on the spot. But yeah, this scene is just, is absolutely nuts.
I love this. This might be my favorite sequence in the movie.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. We've got, Llewellyn goes to a different hotel, just trying to get a new room. I love the way he puts it. He's like, let me know if anyone comes to that door, and by anyone I mean any swinging dick. You tell me if anybody comes to that door. I'm like, holy shit. But this whole thing is great. This whole cat and mouse thing just gets absolutely nuts. And what's absolutely nuts is the fact that the room only cost $26. I was like, holy shit. I was like, $26. God, that room would be like $200 on Trivago now.
Red Dead 2, $1 a night.
Oh my God.
It's $18.99.
Oh, that's so fucking cool. But yeah, like I said, he goes through the stack, finds the transponder, and this is where a shit hits the fucking fan, man, because I kind of, part of the scene makes me laugh sometimes because, he calls the front desk, doesn't get any answer, and he's like, okay. Like, I know this guy just told me he was going to be here all night, so I know something's up now. He's already like, I mean, you're on high alert. You're on high alert anyways. But now you're on like, no, like, we're in the building, like, it's time to go, blah, blah, blah. And, we get him basically hunting him by like the light in the hallway. The only thing I'm ever critical about this scene is the fact that, he sees him right in front of his door, and I know you don't know who that is. I know you don't know. It could be anybody. It could be the cleaning lady. It could be the clerk. It could be anybody up there. So you don't want to just blast this fucking door. But after I would have seen the light turned off, and I would have waited a couple of seconds and be like, all right, I'm going to blast this fucking door because I'm positive he's on the other side. Why would they go and turn the hallway light off? That's the only thing I was kind of critical of, because I'm like, I don't want to shoot this door and kill, some lady on the other side or some kid or something like that. But at the same time, I'm like 99% sure this is this guy. But
I don't know. I kind of see. I do what he did, and like, I know that sounds like the wrong move, because like, there's like a fucking a massive chance it could be someone else. And like, even when he does turn off the light, he's still kind of giving himself away if he misses.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I love that, pop out the lock hits him like right between the eyes. I'm like, ow, right. God damn.
Yeah, no, fucking hell.
Right. I just don't see how he didn't fucking blast Sugar in half, dude, because he has to still be standing like right there. I guess he just barely missed him.
Like unless he just like reached the kettle thing over, and like, he was kind of like a bit to the left or the right.
Right. That's the only thing I can like kind of figure out from it is he blasted the lock off, and then he probably takes like 2 steps back. He's like, yeah, this dude's probably waiting for me. Yeah. But, yeah, Llewellyn jumps out the window. He gives chase, gets shot. At first, I thought this was the air gun still. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, no. Well, no. Okay, this is like, is this even still the shotgun? I think this is like an automatic weapon now.
Yeah, this is not a shotgun. I think it's like a silence, because you can see it like later when he, after he crashes the car. It's kind of like a silenced MP, like a submachine gun. I assumed he got it from the Mexicans.
Right, yeah. Looks like one of the same kind of gun Llewellyn hit earlier, like under the trailer.
So. Yeah.
But yeah, Llewellyn makes out the window. He gets popped in like just what I could imagine to be one of the worst places in the abdomen to get shot. Just like right there in that sensitive like area. You know, it's just like right there, kind of on the side, but it's like not. It's like up front still. Like, oh god.
Dude, like when he goes out the window. Like, when you got that shot of like Llewellyn approaching the camera and like it's that alley, and you can just see the muzzle flashes from the window. Oh. Fucking wild,
dude!
man.
Yeah, and the dust just being kicked up around him, you know, barely.
But the sound of the silenced submachine gun, it's like, fucking awesome, dude! Like, you don't need a score for this scene. Like, you don't need music. Like, this is tense as fuck already, man. Like,
right, great. Absolutely. Llewellyn gives chase to Chigurh and eventually finds this poor motherfucker driving the truck.
This was weird. This guy doesn't say a word. Like he didn't even say what's going on. Like he just like kind of stares at Llewellyn and then fucking cops one to the fucking throat.
Right, dude. Yeah, like that. God, again, one of the worst places probably on the human body to be shot in the fucking throat. Like, ugh. But god damn. I mean, he shoots the driver, you know, then Llewellyn takes the wheel and is kind of driving but the amount of slugs that Chigurh puts in that fucking car as it's driving by that truck, dude, holy shit.
This might be some of my my most favorite cinematography in the entire movie. I love that, like, you can't really make out where he is. He's kind of to the right somewhere, like you can barely make out the muzzle flash, but like the impact of the bullet is still like hitting the car and like hitting the seat, like the fabric around it was just tearing it apart. And like you can just see like you can see out the bullet holes in the windshield, man. Like I love this. I love this entire moment. Like fucking
you really get a feel for like the collateral damage. You know, it's it's crazy because, I mean, Chigurh, he shoots the driver twice. He pops off a third shot at Brolin. Brolin starts driving. Then I've got 4, what do we got? 5, 6, 7, 8,
crazy.
9, 10, 11, 12.
Right.
13 shots into the car. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. Like 14 shots. I'm like, holy shit. He's fucking just blasting crazy, on this. Man. But I do want to ask you a question. Do you think he wrecks the truck on purpose?
No, I don't think so. I honestly think that this is just him being he's not able to control the truck just out of fear or something. I don't know. It's just like a human. I like it because it's kind of like a human sort of thing that had happened. Like you wouldn't really be in control of this situation. Like as skilled as you are as a hunter and as a tracker, you're still being hunted, and you know that this guy is efficient as shit. So I think he crashes the car accidentally. I think he's got every intention on getting the fuck out of there. Although like what he does after is very interesting. Like I love that he kind of like sets a trap essentially.
Mm-hmm, right, he like quietly shuts the door.
Mm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, what do you think?
No, I see. For the longest time, I always thought it was an accident, and I guess I'm still kind of on the fence. But the only thing that gets me is he crashes the truck, and when he gets out, he's not extremely disoriented. He's not like, oh, what the fuck, he gets out and he just like it's almost like it almost seems kind of like planned because he quietly shuts the door and just beats his way across the street really fast. Like part of me wondered because, like you said, yeah, you're being hunted. This guy's efficient as shit. He's going to come up on that car, like the thing about being hunted, the thing that kind of sucks is like where the thing is going to be. Like you can kind of trap it in that way. If it's chasing you, you know exactly where you can lead it to because you're the conductor. You're the one driving the train here. So part of me was like, is this something that he knows? Does he wreck the truck and he's like, okay, I'm just going to get out real quick? Or part of me feels like he wrecks it and then immediately he's like, actually, I might have just kind of opened up maybe a door shut, but I might have just kind of opened up a window here. So he just shuts the door quiet. The only thing that gets me is that he shuts the door so quietly. I think if he were just trying to get the fuck out of there, he would slam that door and just keep running. But he kind of sets a trap.
I think what we learn about Llewellyn is that he's fucking clever, man. Like he can come up with a smart idea very quickly, very on the fly. Like he takes a situation, assesses it, and then comes up with a solution as soon as fucking possible.
Right.
And I think it's very in his character to, even if the car crash was an accident, like he would recover very quickly. I think, like, not in terms of like being disoriented, but like in terms of what's my next move.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, God, the shot of him watching the reflection of Shigur and seeing just like, I mean, it makes him even more terrifying. It's just like a blur, he's just like a shape, like, holy shit. But he gets the drop on Shigur and fucking, pops one at him. Yeah. Pops like 5 or 6.
I love the way Shigur just dives. Like, there's that moment of silence and like Shigur notices and he's like, fuck, he just dives out. And Moss just kind of advances, man. Like, he just angles I love how he crouches and looks under the cars. He just fucking empties the shotgun, right?
Yeah, and I love that. I love that Shigur just drops the gun. He's you would think that would be like, no, hold on to the gun. This dude's like, no, he's got to drop on me. There's no way that I can possibly outshoot this dude right now. If I pop my head up, like, I might get one or two of these bullets off, but he's going to be firing a fucking slug full of shit at me. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to shoot past that stuff. But yeah, he basically fires 5 or 6 shots off at Shigur. Shigur runs off into the night. And this is where we get him kind of like heading for the border and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's on the Rio Grande Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, and basically, oh, dude, the blood coming out of the boot and like how his pants are like wet. I was like, oh man, that's a lot of fucking blood, dude. But I love this whole scene. I love how easy it is for him to get into Mexico, but when he's coming back, like how much harder it is to get into the U.S.
It's fucking right, exactly. And like, look, I've never been anywhere near the border between Mexico and the U.S., but that's fucking wild, man. Like, I know, again, Sicario, one of my favorite fucking movies of all time, and like, everything about that like is about the drug war and shit in Mexico and the U.S. and the border, like. But yeah, like we'll get to that scene when we get to it. But yeah, like, I love this scene where it's just like, I'll give you $500 for your shirt and your coat, and like, I love these kids, like just the let's see the money, and like, were you in a car accident? He's like, yeah, okay, let me have the money, and let him hold it.
Yeah, right. Let me hold the money. It's like, and dude.
And then you get the fucking shit kicker. He's like, Moss is like, let me have your beer. How much? Like, fuck off. He just gave you $500 for a coat.
Right, yeah, and that's fucking crazy because, like, part of me wonders. It's like I would be kind of afraid. Like, dude, you're covered in blood. You're handing out $500. Like, what's to stop these dudes from just beating the shit out of you?
Yeah,
and fucking just taking all of your money because obviously you're loaded.
What do you think about this scene and the last scene with Shigur? Like, because like they're both in pretty similar situations, right? They both have to pay these kids. I don't know what exactly the script is kind of telling us here. Like, whether there's this kind of like mirror opposites. I don't know. What, like, do you reckon that's intentional, or do you think it's just like the way the script went?
Well, I think that when you're doing, it's kind of like live by the sword, died by the sword. Like, because they're living by the sword, they can't really go to the authorities for stuff. Like, we can't really, like, money talks and all else walks. Like, really, at the end of the day, you pull out $500 and say, give me your jacket. Dude, I'll give you the shirt I have on right now for $500. You walk into my apartment, I don't even ask me any questions and tell me you're going to give me $500 for my shirt. You can fucking have it. I'll go get you 2 of them. It's like, I don't give a shit. So I think a lot of these people in the face of money, they're just like, okay, cool, whatever. There might be some kind of social commentary maybe there. I don't know. But I do think it's interesting that these people who are kind of just like pawns in this game in a way, like they're just kind of there, they're kind of like non-playable characters, in a video game. Right. But they can become, I think everybody is like a tool in a way to Shigur, and at the same time, Llewellyn understands that, and that's where he's starting to kind of use people in that way as well. He's like, I have to survive, like I have to just to stay away from this dude. Whereas, I think what's interesting is, you talk about the scene at the end with Shigur after being hit by the car, but if you look at what's going on now between the two of them, the way they go about repairing themselves, Shigur has money. Shigur could just go in here and say, hey, I'll give you $1,000, and you give me whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. And it would probably work. He's probably very good at reading people and seeing who would be down for that and who wouldn't be. But it's just the fact that, here's Brolin, being somewhat, I guess, taking a risk, trying to do it the right way. Hey, here's $500, blah, blah. And then you cut to Sugar, who's blowing up a car and robbing a pharmacy. Like, holy shit.
But not only that, like Brolin is being like pretty low key. Like, he's just paying these kids off just to get him some clothes and a beer to wash the blood off his head. Whereas Sugar is like, let me blow this fucking car up in public in broad daylight and proceed through like this pharmacy and get these drugs. Like, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Like the way the characters, like the way they resolve their situations is so, it speaks volumes, because like Sugar doesn't care like who sees him. Sugar doesn't give a shit. Like, he's escaped custody already.
Right, yeah, he's a fucking ghost. Like, he doesn't care. He'll be gone in 20 minutes. One thing, oh my God, when Brolin fucking pukes that shit up, like, man,
yeah.
that is hard to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brolin makes it over into Mexico. How fucking long?
Throws the case.
Yeah, thank you. Chucks the fucking case, makes it over to Mexico. Part of me is like, dude, how long were you laying on these steps? Like, I expected you just to be dead by now,
Right.
Because it's
I
like
love how he
morning.
wakes up to the mariachis.
Yeah, it's great because they're all, they're just so into it. When he lifts up that coat, it just like, it just drops so fast. But I mean, and God, that is such a great, such a great shot. I mean, it's literal blood money. It's literal blood money that he's having in hand. I mean, it's funny because this was blood money to begin with, in like a metaphysical sense, I guess, if you want to put it that way. I don't think that's the right way to say it. Metaphorical sense. It's blood money, but now it is literally physically blood money, and because you got involved, it's like got your blood on it now. It's like, holy shit.
Médico, por favor.
Yeah. And we also, after we do that, we cut to Sugar, and Sugar's, Sugar's making that fucking like gas tank pipe bomb weird ass thing. Hands down my favorite shot of the movie, without a doubt.
Yeah, was just about to say that, man. One of my favorites. Just the way, the impact of the explosion blowing out the windows. Oh,
dude,
beautiful.
Yeah. I know I've said this 1,000 times, but anytime you've got something going on, like in the background and the foreground, like simultaneously, like we see things going on, I'm such a sucker for that. Yeah. I get sucked into that so hard. Dude,
don't worry about saying things 1,000 times, because I'm going to bring up Sicario and fucking Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto a million more times, so don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, they are sponsoring us. But
could you imagine what we could do with Rockstar Games money? Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Quit my day job.
Yeah, right. Fuck yeah, dude. But yeah, we see, kind of, Sugar, going in, getting some needles, getting whatever, his medical kind of treatment. And him, goes back and, lays the fucking tarp out. Oh my God.
This is for me, this is hard to watch. Like, it's not even that graphic. Like, the only thing graphic here is the bullet wound. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more the way they show it, and the way Sugar kind of like goes about kind of self-dressing himself. Like, it's just so, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah. You can tell this is not the first time this guy's had to do this,
Right, exactly.
He's so, I mean, everything pre-planned, the tarp and, like washing everything off and getting the bottle and the mixture of it. Yeah, and just, I mean, just how, how, I don't know, I think that Sugar, he's probably thinking to himself, like, God, how fucking dumb are you? How dumb are you? You let this guy get the drop on you. Like, I know this is probably not the first time this has happened to this guy, but it has not happened in a long time. Like, I don't think that's happened in a while. Like, Llewellyn, like, he is the kind of the quote unquote hero of our movie. In a normal movie, this guy would survive and kill Sugar and get the money and all this other stuff. But what we at least give him some credit for like, dude, I mean, he is a badass. Like, he may not be the most ultimate badass in this movie or whatever, but he's still a badass. Like, he shot Anton Chigurh. Like, he fucking almost killed him. You know, had he fired up, you know, had he fired a foot higher, he would have fucking killed him. And I think there's something to definitely be said about that. You know, because it's kind of just like they're swapping licks. Like, the fact that Llewellyn gets just as much damage done to Chigurh as Chigurh gets done to him, I mean, speaks for something. It's like, dude, in another life, Llewellyn could totally have done this job and been a guy like Chigurh and Wells, Carson Wells. So it's interesting to see, like, kind of like the tally of, you know, it's like one for one. You know, it's a bit of a tie, which is cool. They both kind of have to go off like licking their wounds. I like that a lot. We also see, you know, we cut back to Sheriff Bell, you know, talking about committing himself, what is it, like committing himself to, I can't remember exactly what the fuck.
Well, he's talking about, like he asked, I guess, his, assistant, anything on those vehicles yet? Sheriff had found out everything there was to find. Those vehicles are titled and registered to deceased people. The owner of that Blazer died 20 years ago. Did you want me to see what I could find about the Mexican ones? And he's like, no, Lord, no.
Lord, no.
No, he's like, no, fuck that. But yeah, this is the scene where I was like, oh, the DEA agent called. And yeah, Bell's like, you know, I'm going to try and keep as much from it as much as I can. He's going back out there. But yeah, it's not, yeah.
No, I was to say that's what it, committing. What does he say about truth and justice? We commit ourselves daily anew. Well, I'll commit myself twice a day, 3 times before it's over.
Right. But before he says that, like he said, you know, could I get you to call Loretta until I've gone to Odessa? I'm going to visit Carla Jane Moss.
Right.
Yeah.
I do, even though it's really brief, and I don't want to talk about this very long. Him seeing the guy loading the dead bodies. It just shows you just the kind of like
things that he's dealing with usually, right?
Right. Well, I think the offensive nature of like just how, like, you know, how in the criminal world, you know, these people are just executing each other left and right and they don't give a fuck. And even in the totally normal legal world of what's going on, it's like, dude, we're just throwing bodies on the back of a truck and half-ass covering them up because we don't give a fuck, you know. And that's kind of like what's going on with the criminals as well. It's like nobody really seems to care or have the same kind of, like, he's affected by this a lot more than the other people around him. I feel like like people are like, oh, you know, that's just kind of the way the world is, because I mean, this is 1980. So I mean, we obviously have had crime and, you know, things have been going on for a while, but things are really starting to rev up, especially in the 80s and the 90s on the border going into Mexico. I mean, it really started fucking revving up, you know, shipping cocaine and shit like that. I mean, it started to really get intense. So this is kind of a perfect time for him to be like, man, you know, I may have busted a couple of dudes, you know, growing weed or something like that in Texas, or, you know, busted some people doing pop. These guys are killing each other over heroin now and fucking, you know, killing dogs, and it's getting kind of nuts. And I think this is kind of something with these bodies. He's like offended by the way. It's like, dude, have some respect, you know, have at least some respect. You know, this is kind of like the honor of the old guards, like, in a way, whereas like these newer people just don't have that. You know, that's kind of always the way it is when you see the torch being passed down sometimes. You know, there's just certain things like we don't, you know, you wouldn't attack somebody, you know, during this time or this place, but it's like, no, fuck that. You know, that's the old way of doing things. We have to, you know, you have to be willing to do the thing that the other guy's not willing to do to win, basically. And I think that's something about, you know, with these bodies, he's like, God, these people have like no respect for this anymore. You know, no respect for the fact that people are dying, and, you know, it's just fucked up. But this is where we're introduced to Carson Wells. You know, I love what he says. He's like, I bet you thought your life would not have turned out this way, or something like that. He said something like, I bet you didn't think that it was going to turn out like this. Right. But yeah, he's you know, basically warning him about Chigurh and asking him like, hey, you know, you bring me the money, nothing bad's going to happen to you. I might even let you keep a little bit. I spend it all on, what did he say? He's like 1.2 million on whiskey and whores.
not 1.2, $1.5 million. Like, God. I'm like, how much? What, do you even have a liver and a dick right now?
Right. He's like, yeah, I bought brand new ones with my 1.5 million.
Right.
He got through the first half of it and wore his like kidneys, liver, and dick out and had to like bionic man that shit back into him.
He's like, I successfully like developed science with this money.
Yeah, right. But basically he's trying to cut him a deal. He's saying, man, give me the money. You can even keep some of it, get this guy off your back, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, if I was into cutting deals, well, I'm going to just cut one with this sugar guy. And he's like, oh, no. He's
Sugar.
like, he's like, he's not he's like, you don't understand. You can't make a deal with him. Even if you gave him the money, he'd still kill you for inconveniencing him. Holy shit. That is fucking crazy. He's a peculiar man. You might even say he has principles that transcend money or drugs. It's like, or anything like that. Not like you. Oh, that's fucking crazy.
And this is where it starts kind of dawning on Moss, because Wells tells him, how do you know he's not on his way to Odessa? And Moss is like, oh shit, why would he? And Moss is like, why would he go to Odessa? And he's like, to kill your wife.
Right. He's like, look how easy it was for me to do this. He's like, and this guy's even better than me.
Yeah. Found you in 3 hours.
Right. Yeah. But I fucking, that scene is so great. And he even says, he's like, this guy's coming for you. And he's like, well, why shouldn't this guy be worried about me coming for him? He's like, no. He's not worried about you. I can tell you that. He's flat out like, dude, he doesn't give a fuck about you. You're like the 12th dude he's killed this week. He does not give a fuck, man. But yeah, this is a great scene between Carla Jean and Sheriff Bell. Where it's just basically, I think they're starting to talk about Llewellyn, and she's saying she doesn't know where he is, just kind of covering for him, essentially, right?
Yeah. But she's wanting to know who's he in trouble with. Then some pretty bad people. But yeah, trying to cover for him pretty much. Belle kind of has like a little bit of a story here about Charlie and his livestock. Pretty much is like, he talks about he hit him with a maul right there to stun him. Truss up to him, slit their throats. Well, here Charlie has one trussed up and all set to drain him, and the beef comes too. Starts thrashing around 600 pounds of very pissed off livestock. If you'll pardon my... And then he just rambles off. Charlie grabs his gun there to shoot the damn thing in the head, but what with the swinging and the twisting, it's a glance shot and ricochets around and comes back, hits Charlie the shoulder. You guys see Charlie, he still can't reach up with the right hand for his hat. Point being, even in the contest between man and cow, the issue is not certain.
Yeah, right. And basically, it goes on to talk about, the fact that they use those cattle guns that Shakur is using, right? And he's kind of, she's like, Sheriff, why are you telling me this? He's like, I don't rightly know. And he's so close. He's so fucking close right there. And I guess you can say there's kind of like some hidden meaning in Sugar using a cattle killing gun to kill people. He just considers them animals. He doesn't care. He's like, you're cattle. He's like, I am. It's kind of like one of these quotes that I've heard. I saw it on some douchebag's Facebook or Instagram, but it was like, the lion doesn't really care what the sheep thinks of it. He's like, dude, I don't fucking care about you. I don't care what you think about me or any of this shit. But yeah, I like this scene. It's real quick. It's nothing too crazy. But at the same time, I just love that it's like right under his nose the whole time. It's like, you're so fucking close, man. You're so close. Like it's right there. But yeah, and this is where we get Carson leaving the hospital. He just flat. Hey, that's a real lucky look, man. You just looked over and saw the money. Wow,
right? Yeah,
that's incredible.
Little too much, but I don't mind.
Right, yeah, I don't hate it. It's plausible. It's not the most impossible thing in the world. Especially someone who's like, he's an army colonel, dude. He's observant and meticulous. Like he's gonna be hyper vigilant and like catch shit. But basically, he spots the money, goes back to the hotel. Sugar's fucking there waiting on him, man. Hello, Carson.
Dude, the shot of him behind him though, like when he's climbing the stairs, and it's just like, oh shit, like he's fucking right behind him.
Right, yeah. And again, same hotel that he just murdered the clerk, shot this place to pieces. It's the same fucking hotel. How exactly? I guess I guess how the hell does he find Carson? I never really understood that. I guess he gets wind that somebody else is, trying to bring him in. I'm not really sure. It's not super important, I just assumed maybe he was tracking Llewellyn and saw Carson and was like, what the fuck?
It's not something that I really lingered on, to be honest. But yeah, man, like when he's just like, hello, Carson, let's go to your room.
God damn, dude. Yeah, I love this, this whole conversation. Do you know how crazy you are? You mean the nature of this conversation? No, I mean the nature of you.
Right, exactly. It's an amazing conversation, but I love the way it starts because like what Carla Jane says later, like Will says it here, he's like, we don't have to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just comes back because like later Carla Jane's like, you don't have to do this, and he's like, that's what they all say. Also, you don't have to do this.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I did not catch that until you just said it. Like, awesome. Oh, fuck.
It's awesome.
But
it will be brought to me and placed at my feet.
Oh, dude, that is those are the lines that get you into like epic fucking badass villainy. Like, holy the feeling of just like omnipotent power. Like, dude, I won't have to do anything. You'll bring it to me. I'm like, holy shit.
Let me ask you something. If the rule you followed brought you to this, of what use was the rule?
Oh, dude.
Good God.
So good. Makes just the fact that this guy, I mean, it's very hard to dispute what he's saying because it's like, here you are, you're about to die. And, I guess I've proven myself, superior. My philosophy is more superior. Like, your belief system is obsolete. Like, oh my God, just having that, just everything just broken down right in front of you is like, holy fuck,
it's
that's
fucking wild,
awful,
man. But yeah, like he's like, you can have the money, Anton, and then that's when the phone rings, and then, dude, I had no idea. Like, I was so surprised the first time I watched this that Carson, like that, that Harrelson was gonna die, but like I should have pieced it together because like. Anton is just like, Sugar is just such a force of nature. Like, he leaves no witnesses and shit. Like, he's just, besides that gas station attendant, like, how could he not have died? But like, I love just how unceremoniously he's killed. Like, it's just like he doesn't even move the shotgun for one. Like, it's just like laying there in his lap, and like he just shoots him.
Right, yeah, it's basically an off-screen death for the most part. I mean, it's there, but we don't see it nearly at all. I can only imagine what pile of spaghetti Woody Harrelson must look like after he gets fucking shot with this thing. Like, oh, dude, I'm kind of glad I didn't see that.
Like, I just ate some lasagna, and that's probably what he looks like.
But yeah, he just, like I said, he rips that shot into Carson and kills him, and answers the phone, and it's our boy fucking Llewellyn. And this is their only interaction. This entire movie is like their fucking only interaction.
You know what I love? One of my favorite moments in the movie is Carson Wells there, not in the sense that you mean.
Oh God, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know who I am. He's like, you need to talk to me. I don't think I do. He's like, do you know where I'm going? Why would I care where you're going? I know where you are. Yeah, where am I? He's like, you're in the hospital down the river.
Raised, like the shot of the pooling blood, and like Sugar like raises his boots to the bed.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Yeah, I know where you're going. All right, and he's like, basically, yeah, I'm going to hunt your woman, and he's like, she won't be there, blah blah blah. This is just a great interaction between them because every single time that Llewellyn thinks, oh well, I'll just get her out of there. He's like, it doesn't matter. I'll still find her. I'll still kill her. It's like, holy shit.
Sugar says, so this is what I'll offer. You bring me the money and I'll let her go. Otherwise, she's accountable. Same as you. That's the best deal you're going to get. I won't tell you that you can save yourself because you can't.
Oh, dude. Wow. I mean, he's got a fucking system, dude. Like, I mean, as much as we don't want to like what he's doing, like, God, at least he's consistent at it, I guess. I mean, if I'm looking on the positive side of this, I decided to make you a special project of mine. You ain't going to have to come look for me at all. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, I like that. You're he's an underdog, Most of us watching this are thinking, dude, yeah, fucking, yeah, Llewellyn, you're just going to fuck him up. And then it's like not knowing what's about to happen. It totally fucks you up. But after that, we get this interaction back to Bell with his deputy. They talk about these old folks that they were like killing and cashing in their Social Security checks. Just basically more of, I think, of the decline of the world around him. It's the fact that he's had his ear to the ground his whole life, paying attention to people, and now he's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? I just can't understand it anymore.
Right, like it's not overly, important. I mean, like it is important to the sense of this character, but we kind of already know. Like it's something that we can blow through it, I think.
Right. Yeah. I love as he goes back trying to get Josh Brolin trying to get across the border, so much more difficult.
Who do you think gets through this gate into the United States of America? I don't know. American citizens? Some American citizens. Who do you think decides? You do, I reckon.
Right, yeah.
This fucker, man.
Yeah, and I love that. Basically, he just gives him a bunch of shit until he's like, yeah, sir, I served in Vietnam. He's like, are you being smart with me, sir? No, sir. He's like, because I'll launch your ass back across that border. Yes, sir. Yeah, he's very like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like, gets him to tell him what outfit he's in. 12th Infantry Battalion, August 7th, 1966 to July 2nd, 1968. And then, he's just like, Wilson, yes, sir. Get someone to help this man. He needs to get into town.
Yeah. But I love he goes back to the same store and gets boots and clothes and stuff all over again.
The entire fucking outfit, yeah.
At this point, I would I'd give up the money, man. Just give it up. Like, I mean,
would too.
Maybe grab a couple of stacks and take off. But I mean,
maybe he's just kind of like proud. Like he just wants to. He doesn't want to give up. Like maybe that's just the character that Llewellyn is.
Right, yeah. And I think at this point, I mean, it would just be so hard for them to escape him, to relocate and start their lives all over again. This guy would never stop.
They've come too far. Yeah, they've come too far, I think, to go back.
Right, exactly. But basically,
conversation with the mother.
Right. Well, it's where Llewellyn calls. Oh God. God, I already forgot her name. It's Llewellyn calls Carla Jean. And he's basically, what does he tell him to go to El Paso, I believe? Like telling him to meet him at that hotel, and he's going to give her the money, and like, so basically she'll have the money, but he'll be, but Chigurh will still be chasing Llewellyn, I believe is what's going on. If I'm correct, does that sound right?
No, you're right. So yeah, she tells him, he tells her to go to El Paso. Yeah, but basically, Carla Jane guesses that he's hurt, and she can pretty much hear it in his voice. And then in the background, you've got the mother. There is a falseness in his voice.
God, that woman that plays her mother is in so much shit, dude. I mean,
is she from Speed?
I can't remember. I've only seen that once a very long time ago.
Okay.
I know that woman. I know that this is the woman at the beginning of Flatliners who's talking about her baby.
Yeah, that's her then. That's the chick from Speed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, her name's Beth Grant. She's been in, I mean, oh my God, she's been in so much stuff.
Donnie Darko, yeah, Speed,
Donnie
Little
Darko.
Miss Sunshine.
Oh my God. Yeah, Little Miss Sunshine. I want to strangle this fucking woman. I hate her, dude. But she does such a great job making you fucking just hate her guts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I remember she was shitty in Speed as well.
Right. But yeah, basically that's the plan. Yeah, this is where I always get just like a little bit confused, because I was like, okay, wait, now what's going on with the money? Because even though he says he's going to give it to Carla Jean, that never really happens. He ends up getting killed, and it kind of gets a little confusing. Just like, it's like, okay, wait, who's got the money now? Because at first I thought the Mexicans shot him and took off with it, and like I couldn't exactly figure out what was going on. But yeah, that's the plan. He's going to give the money to Carla Jean. They'll keep chasing him. And he just won't have it. Either way, I think he knows. Either way, I'll be dead, but at least Carla Jean will be okay. She'll be taken care of. And I think that's what I took away from it. I think he knows that he's probably going to die either way. I mean, and this is just like a contingency plan. He's like, at least she'll have the money. I'm not going to leave her. Exactly. Not going to leave her fucking homeless.
And then we get the scene where Chigurh kills Root.
Yeah, that's, oh my God, he gave the Mexicans a tracker. Yeah, he just thought that, with more people on it, that he's wrong. You pick the right tool. You don't pick other tools. He's like, you pick the one tool and that's it.
I love the guy just standing there.
Do you think he kills him?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, why?
He's a witness,
right? It's like what they say in Heat. He's like, "Why leave a living witness?" It's like, well, I mean, why? You wouldn't fucking do that.
Exactly. But you know what I love? Like, who are you? Me? Yes. Nobody. Accounting.
Right. Yeah. The only thing worse than an accountant is a lawyer. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
shots fired.
Shots fired. Below the belt.
Yeah. But oh my God, you know how many people I know in El Paso? 0. And I was like, oh my God, I've got the cancer, and I'm out here in 90-degree heat.
Oh, fuck off.
It's not every day you see a Mexican in a suit.
Oh God. But this Mexican guy is just so like polite. I love how he like turns on the charm.
Right, yeah, and that's just, I mean, in the South, though, this would totally pass. Just this guy helping out an elderly person, dude. I can't tell you how many times I'm in a grocery store and some old lady's like, "Can you reach that for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I guess." But yeah, she can you reach that for me? Yeah, but I'm gonna need something in return. No, sorry, hold on. Sorry, sir, can you reach that for me? Yes. But I'm going to need something in return.
This ain't for free.
These Capri Suns are going to cost you. But yeah, I mean, goddamn, her mom totally blows the fucking cover.
Right.
Which, and I don't even know, honestly, I start getting lost at some point. I don't even know when the Mexicans started, like, tailing Carla Jean, like how they found out where she was. I assume that because Carson was able to find them and Anton was able to find them, it just must be easy for these people in this kind of line of work,
See, I think it's one of those things that you kind of have to let go, because it's more like, oh God, and I'm going to keep bringing it up. Fucking Sicario. It's just okay. It's a very, very easy movie to compare it to, because like Sicario deals with hitmen, and literally like the title means hitman. But like that movie shows like how you can be found by the cartel. Like there's no hiding, there's no running from it. They have sources, they have like people who've been paid off, like police, corrupted officials. Like they are going to find you. Like there is no, if you've wronged the cartel, you're going to be hunted, and you're going to be found. And your loved ones are going to be found, and you're not going to be able to run from them. I think it's just one of those things that you kind of just have to leave alone. Like, because as much as this movie does like show you, and it goes to great lengths to show the detail in a lot of things. I think that's one of the things that you kind of need to let go, because it's just like it's just kind of assumed knowledge.
Right, yeah. I mean, if this is your profession, it must be, if it's this easy for you, it's probably not that hard for everybody else. But yeah, basically they, this is where we say goodbye to our boy, Llewellyn. Hey, Mr. Sporting Goods. that woman is like two bangs. This is 1980. She's 2 bangs away from getting AIDS. She's fucking so fucking close, dude. Like, I've actually been reading, like, because I was, we've been talking about Queen, and, I'm a big Freddie Mercury fan. I just finished a book, and half the book would detail just the beginnings of AIDS and things like that. And oh my God, it will never make you want to have unprotected sex ever again. It has like scarred me, especially in like 1980. Holy shit.
I think you might have gone past the scene where Sugar kills the guy with the chicken pickup, right?
Push maps. Push maps. I mean, either way, basically he's trying to get to El Paso, kills the guy in the truck. Ain't you gonna jump that off there? I love this guy. I just love him. This guy's
so nice, man.
Yeah, he's so fun. He's like airport or airstrip. Airport. Where are you going? Doesn't matter. Oh, just flying for the territories, huh? I've been there, brother. I was like, dude, this guy's fucking so likable. Right. Can you get those chicken crates out of the back? What? Oh man, then like a hard cut to him spraying down the back. Right, yeah. I love this guy's reaction because he has like it's not even like a volatile reaction, but it's the most volatile reaction anybody has to Sugar asking them to do some crazy shit. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, "Okay, cool." That's the way I would react. You know, that's the one complaint I do have about this movie is that the people in it are just very passive. They're just like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm caught in the middle of this." You know, nobody's like, "Dude, get the fuck out of my car." You know, nobody fucking loses it. But I think it's just like we talked about earlier, that hypnotic, almost like Dracula fucking charm that Sugar has on people. But yeah, you know, the hard cut to him spraying out the chicken coop. Then we've got I think that's where we get the scene in Mr. Sporting Goods, you know, blah blah, and you know, he's like, "No, I know what beer leads to. Beer leads to more beer." I like that.
Yeah, I don't know about this scene. I think you could have left it out. I don't know.
I don't hate it because I guess we need something for the last time with Llewellyn. We just need some kind of quick last little thing.
Well, we need to show that he's there.
Right, yeah. We need to kind of get our bearings and figure out what's going on because this is basically, you know, we've never been here before. We're not staying here long. And yeah, the Mexicans just totally trail him and find him and fucking blast him.
It's crazy because like it's like a fade out and then it's fade in from like Sheriff Bell's point of view, and you see like the Mexicans like tearing out in that pickup truck, and like Sheriff Bell like walks up to the door and fucking he's being blasted, man.
Yeah, and
it's crazy how the perspective changes, and like it's just like Llewellyn is like looked at like a secondary character, and I think that's where this movie kind of loses a lot of people.
Right, yeah, and the way that they because not you know, he's a death basically off screen, but at the same time, it's not like we get this crazy shot where we could see, you know, right up on the face that it's him, or when he shows up there, he's dying, and you know and Sheriff Bell watches him die or something. It's like, no, it's not glorious. There is no, I get all the attention. This is my moment to die in this movie. You know, I'm a main character. No, you're just dead. That's the way it works. It's like, dude, that's how this world works. You don't get to have this gravitas and this big dramatic moment of like, oh, well, you know, I'm dying, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're here and then you're gone. And that's it. It's like, holy shit. Like, I fucking love that. And it's great. And it really rings to what the fuck this world is about. It doesn't matter. Same thing with Sugar. You know, had Llewellyn blasted him in half 20 minutes ago, he just would have sat there and died, and that would have been the end of it. We wouldn't have had this big, you know, ta-da moment. You know, I like that. And especially my brother Austin, he was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, man, that fucking shit pissed me off. He's like, I didn't think, you know, he's like, because my brother's a big fan of the underdog. You know, he's a big fan of seeing the good guy win, you know, and I think that pissed him off. And at first, you know, you're kind of like, well, what the fuck? Because basically, I mean, it is kind of like, does anybody really win? I don't really know. You know, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, are the good? I mean, I guess is anybody really good in this per se to say that they're the good guy? You know, it's like, I don't really think so. But the thing that I love is, you know, Carla Jean rolls up on the scene, and I didn't mean to rhyme that. Jesus. But that sounded like the lamest. Carla Jean rolling on the scene. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's terrible.
What are you, MC Hammer over here?
Yeah. Oh God. You know what? I gotta go. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, just hang up. But yeah, oh, yeah, and Carla Jean, I mean, she tells, to backtrack a little bit, she tells Sheriff Moss where to find Llewellyn. You know, she's like, promise you won't hurt him? Carla Jean, I will not harm your man. Yeah, I love that. And, you know, and it sucks because he's like, I won't harm your man, but I can't promise for the two other groups that are chasing him. Like,
exactly.
Sorry.
Like, he's fucking enemy number one. Like, you know, he's being hunted by 3 different, like, factions, man. Like, that's fucked.
Right, yeah, there's nothing else to do. We get this weird scene. A lot of these scenes, I mean, I don't hate them, but, you know, I guess I can kind of do without them. The scene where Sheriff Bell is talking to the other sheriff, who's played by Roger Boyce. You know, they have coffee, and they're just talking about the, you know, how society's all going to shit. And, you know, once people stop saying yes, sir, no, sir, I mean, that's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, you know, that's just the way things go. You know, it's going downhill from there. And I was like, okay, whatever. This is just, I chalked this up to just being like, you damn kids. You know, that's kind of what it feels like. And
it's adding more to Bell's sort of perspective and worldview. And like there are a lot of these, but I guess that's the point the movie's trying to make.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, the one thing I do like is after their meeting, he goes back to the hotel room, and fucking barely misses Sugar. Part of me is, even though, like, I don't think that Sugar is in there. I really don't, because how the fuck did he get out? It's like the window is locked and sealed when he comes into the room. So but I do think he's just barely missed him. That's what I took away from it. I took away from it that Sugar was literally just there. Like, there should be like a cold glass of milk sitting on the table. Like, he was just fucking there.
I agree. I think Sugar's just like a ghost at this point, like you said. So it's not. Yeah, I do agree. I think he like barely just missed him, because like he finds where the case was, and the case is gone.
Right, exactly. And yeah, as we know that Sugar knows that he would have hidden it in there. So not only do the Mexicans not get anything, Sugar gets the money and basically kind of wins, and that's the whole thing. And after this is when Sheriff Bell's like, I got to retire. He's like, I just can't keep doing this.
I don't want to go past one thing. I love how they're kind of each looking at each other through the reflection in that. What is it, a lock?
I think so.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I love it.
Yeah, I like the scene a lot, especially I don't think that Sugar is there, but when they cut to Sugar up against the wall with that fucking gun, I think that's just what Bell is seeing in his head. He's like, somebody is in here. Somebody could be here right now. Yeah. We get this scene with his Sheriff Bell and his Uncle Ellis. They just talked about, why he's retiring.
I love this scene.
See, I was going to say I could, take it or leave it,
You know what? I could do, like, it's because it's the same thing. Like, it's Bell, it's Bell's worldview. That's all it adds to it. But I like Ellis. I like the actor. I like the way he's kind of portrayed. Like, I love these cats, and I love his, like, he's like, how'd you know I was here? Who else would be in your truck? You heard it? How's that? He's like, yeah, you having fun with me? Like, I love, like, these two play off each other really, really well. I think, although the scene kind of adds to things that we've already seen already, and it's kind of drumming in our heads, like what Bell's sort of like worldview is. I do like this scene.
I don't mind it. I mean, I feel like it could be a bit shorter. Because it is long. Yeah, it is kind of a long scene. But the thing how much money would it take for you to lick the floor of this place?
Well, taking into account my fucking current employment status, $1.
Can you buy me a McRib? But yeah, we basically this is Sheriff Bell decided to retire, talking about how things are just getting the world's just getting crazy and blah blah. And Ellis tells him the world's not getting any crazier. He's like, it's just always been that way. He's like, you're just not saying that you're just now noticing it. He's like, but this has been going on forever. This is where he basically tells him he's having a case of vanity. He's being vain. And he tells him the story about how his grandfather died. He was killed by 8 outlaws who just sat there and watched him bleed to death. And that was, it's like, dude, I mean, this has been going on forever. He's like, you're the good guy. You're going to run up against bad guys.
Right. Ellis says, what you got ain't nothing new. This country's hard on people, hard and crazy. Got the devil in it yet, folks. Folks never seem to hold it to account. Most don't. You're discouraged. I'm discouraged. You can't stop what's coming. Ain't all waiting on you.
I love it. Ain't all waiting on you. That's great.
Yeah.
But
that's vanity.
Yeah. This is where Carla Jean's mother dies. I guess I don't really say. Yeah, they don't say exactly what of, but I don't care. I hope she
got the cancer.
I hope that she drove off a cliff. And the car hit the car hit like a trampoline, and the trampoline bounced her down like another cliff, and then she landed on like a spike or something.
Dude, like, did you happen to catch how old she was when she died?
No, actually, I didn't even look at that.
Because she looks a lot older than how she actually is. Her dates are 1922 to 1980. She was 58.
50. God, she looks like she looks like the grandmother off the Golden Girls.
Right. She looks 180.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's like looking at this one, I'm like, holy shit. Like my mom is God, she's in her mid 60s and she looks 20 years younger than this woman's mom. Like right now, I'm like, holy shit.
My dad is 54 and like he looks half of this woman's age.
Right, yeah. Part of me just wants to see this woman strapped to the front of some guy's car in Mad Max, like just her with like the face plate on, just driving into a storm. Oh God, that'd be Here I am out in the middle of the oblivion that is the Australian outback, and I know 0 people, and I have the cancer.
Dude, you gotta watch Speed for what happens to her character alone.
Oh fuck, God, I hope she. Never mind, that's gonna get graphic. No, I'm just kidding. I hope she just goes under the wheels of that bus. It's like, fuck it.
well, you know what?
Well, you're not wrong.
You're not too far off the mark there, mate.
Oh, awesome, good. But
if I remember it correctly, because it's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that. But yeah, Carla Jean, she buries her mother, comes home, and
one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah, dude, this is. I love that she has the final scene with him. I love that.
You know what? She is the only character in the movie to have scenes with all 3 characters.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Yeah. She's kind of like the glue holding it together.
Right. I love how she walks in the room. She sees him. I knew this wasn't done with.
Oh yeah, dude. She fucking knows. It's like, you're dead. Like, you're so fucking dead. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when she walks in, she's like, that coin doesn't mean anything. It's you. She's like, you put the value in it.
Exactly. Like, I love her character in this situation because she doesn't get too much screen time. Like, she gets enough. But this is the scene for me that really makes her, man. Like, she's like, you gave your word to my husband to kill me. That doesn't make any sense. And Shigeru's just like, your husband had the opportunity to remove you from harm's way. Instead, he used you to try and save himself. And that's like, Carla Jean's just like, I knew you were crazy when I saw you sitting there. I knew exactly what was in store for me. And Shigeru just concurs. He's just like, yeah, things fall into place. And man, like, it's just, this is, like you said, with the coin, and she immediately, like, I want to think that she rattles him here. Mm-hmm. Like, because Shigeru is so unfazed throughout the entire movie. But I just want this to be the point where he kind of gets rattled. He's like, "Holy shit, she's right." It's not the coin. It's not the coin making these decisions. It's me. It's me being the fucking Grim Reaper. Right. Yeah. Exactly. She's kind of it's kind of like what Carson says. He's like, you're crazy. He's like, oh, you mean the nature of this No, he's like, I mean the nature of you. He's like, you are fucking crazy. Right. And I think that's so fucking great. And technically, I guess that Shigeru is right. He's like, I gave your husband an out, and he decided not to take it. And but at the same time, the way he warps that is so fucking malicious. And like, this is the way this guy fucking thinks. That's the crazy part. Is like, this is the way that this guy, it functions. He's like, no. That was I gave him every way to get out of this, and he decided not to take it. It's like, oh yeah, just come here and turn yourself in and let me kill you, and I'll let your wife go. Yeah, that's a fucking great deal. Right, exactly. It's kind of, like, yeah, I guess in the strictest of terms you did, but what the fuck, man? Like, that's kind of nuts. For sure. I love the way the scene ends, though. Like, it's just a wide shot of the house. Front door swings open and Shigeru comes through. He like pauses with one hand on the door jamb and looks at the sole of like each boot. Again, I think that kind of lends credence to the idea that he killed her, which is very sad. Which is very sad, but I mean, each sequence where he's kind of killed someone, he's been very careful about the blood, and I think it's very intentional on the Coen Brothers' part. That Shigeru looks at his boots. Yeah. Right. Yeah. What do you think of this final scene? What do you think that they're trying to tell us with this? Yeah, this might be the hardest scene for me to grasp in terms of what they're trying to say. because he gets in the car crash. He gets out and he sees these two kids. He offers the money to the kids, and the kid's like, "Oh, I'll give you my shirt," like, you know, and he just kind of like takes off. I don't know. I haven't fully. Every time I watch this movie, this is the part that I kind of rub up against the most, but mainly because it's like he kind of walks off unscathed, live to fight another day. I don't know. What do you think? Let me get your thoughts on it first, and I'll see if I agree or where my thoughts go off. What are your thoughts? In other words, it's more like, I don't know, Colin. You tell me, and I'll fucking copy you.
That reminds me of Hot Fuzz when Sergeant Fisher's always like, he's like, Sergeant Angel, help me.
Yeah, yeah. He's like what he said.
Yeah. What he said. I'll handle the press, Sergeant. But I think that. I don't know. Part of me feels like, and I assume this is straight out of the book. I really doubt there was any fuckery with book to movie. I've heard this is one of, if not the most faithful, one of the most faithful transitions from book to screen. Nice. I think that part of it is to show us that Anton is. I mean, we do need kind of a moment to, like. I don't know if it's just the structure of the story. We need to feel some kind of moment of victory. And I guess seeing him just get hit by a car makes us feel better. But also at the same time, I think it's to kind of show that this is the life that this guy's going to have to continue to lead. Even though, he just murdered this woman, whatever. There's no proof of that. There's no reason to go into her house. Like any normal person could probably just sit there and be like, yeah, I'm going to wait on an ambulance because nobody knows that I've murdered this person. There's no way they would ever figure that out. But with the line of work that he's in and the kind of things that he's doing, like you're always going to have to be like on your guard like that. It sucks because this is going to be your life. The smallest infraction, if something happens, you can't be seen anywhere. You can't go to a hospital. You can't call the cops. Like you can't get a fucking credit card. Like, they're going to have your name and your number and know where you live. Like you're going to have to constantly be off the grid like this your whole life, like paying kids for their shirts, and this ain't a bullet wound in the leg. You can't go back to the hotel room and fix this fucking arm,
your bone is fucking graphically sticking out.
Right. And I'm sure he's just kind of like, okay, I got to just get to this guy that I know and he can reset it for me and fix it. But I think it also shows that Sugar, even though he's literally walking away from all of this, it's barely by the skin of his teeth. It's like you are not unflappable. You're not untouchable. You are going to be susceptible to what's going on out there in the world. Like, even though it's Anton Chigurh and he feels just like this force of nature, I think it kind of helps with putting us at ease that this guy is not unstoppable. Like he can, he can be stopped to some extent. And he's going to keep going and he'll adapt to survive. But I think that's probably the best thing, is to just make us feel a little bit more at ease that someone like this, he's not indestructible.
Right. I do agree. And I think it kind of lends to this whole idea that, this guy, we've seen him be so fucking efficient throughout the entire movie. It might be a little bit of a anticlimax if he kind of gets arrested, or I would love to see what this guy does after this movie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then it also kind of lends credence to the fact that ghosts like this never get caught. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is so good at what he does. He will find every opportunity to get out of the situation that he's in. It's a good ending. It's tough to grasp what's happening, like what they're trying to tell us here, because that they're trying to tell us something.
Right. Yeah, and I think that if this guy was ever going to get caught, he would have gotten caught by now. He's probably been doing this for a decade or two, if not more, right. And it's like, dude, this guy is extremely proficient. Even if the cops showed up, I'm sure he could just murder both of them on the spot and just run. Be like, all right, see ya. But yeah, that's just what I took away from it. I think it's to show that even with his meticulous planning and all of this stuff and feeling like he's just so superior, it's another one of those reminders, like getting shot in the leg, that it's like, dude, you're not that far removed from these people. Like, you're not this like apex predator motherfucker, like in the sense that you think you are. Like, you are a badass, and dude, you can really, you can really do some shit, but at the same time, some shit can be done to you as well. But that's just what I took away from it. And, that's a wrap, dude. That's No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, dude. Oh, well, you do get that little epilogue scene with Belle talking to Loretta, but it's not. He tells another story like he always does.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I think I fell asleep. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it is kind of a cool dream. Because I was actually it kind of hits home for me like a little bit, because like my dad passed away in 2012, and it's weird because my brothers would be like, yeah, I had a dream about dad and blah blah, and I've just never had that, and I just thought that was really weird, like it kind of like, and when I do have dreams, they're just like nonsensical, like it's just jargon, none of it makes any sense. Right. And I thought this was really cool. This whole thing about his dad, having like a horn made of fire, and he was like leading him through, and he knew that wherever he was going, that his dad was going to be there. I was like, damn, that's fucking cool. I like the visuals that it strikes up more than anything. For sure, it's great. I didn't really have much of a reaction to this dream. Really, it's not something that I can really relate to, but it's a good closer. It is very. It does make you think a little bit, but yeah. Right. I always thought, because I did forget this part, I honestly remembered this movie fading out when Sugar's limping away, but I guess it didn't. So. Yeah. The only thing I can really take away from, because I think there's two dreams. One of them's real small. I don't think it has really anything to do with it, but the one about his dad with the horn and the embers in it and stuff, I think he's, basically kind of leading him to where he's going. He's like, I retired, eventually, you'll die and you'll join me, and, we're just kind of into this like new frontier. And I think I think it's symbolic of his dad saying like, this is no place for you. This is no country for an old man. Like you don't need to be here, kind of thing. And, and he takes himself out of the game. It's the smartest thing to do. Okay. But that's No Country for Old Men.
That's No Country for Old Men, dude. We've got the Coen Brothers in our fucking books now. Yeah, I mean, we've got them up there with the guy that did RoboCop, The Void. Some of the best directors of all time. Yeah, Michael Bay. I mean, some of the best directors of all time. We got Spielberg in there. We got some Tarantino. We got some Fincher. Yeah, Fincher for sure. I guess. I mean, I don't really have any closing thoughts. Honestly, I think I've just kind of cashed out here at the end, cashing in all my chips. I mean, I've kind of given all the thoughts that I really care to give. Honestly, I don't really know of anything else that this fucking 4.5 hour long podcast. But yeah, I mean, I was just gonna keep going. No, you go ahead. Obviously, I mean, we're all here for you, Zoheb. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck you. Well, I was just going to read the listener comments that we had. Oh, go right ahead. We got a couple. They're very brief. Fucking Patrick Harrington. Fuck yes, friendo. Yeah, for sure, dude. That was just in reaction to us kind of announcing that we're covering this movie. And Craig Dealey, fucking Mr. British Isles over there. Mm-hmm. Sugar is one of the baddest baddies in recent films. Reminds me somewhat of Lorne Malvo, played by Billy Bob Thornton in Fargo. Ruthless, relentless, yet with a weird sort of almost honor. Brilliant film. Yeah, dude. So Lorne Malvo, if you haven't seen it, is from the Fargo TV show. He's in season 1. Dude, he might be the greatest TV villain of all time, because he is amazing. Like, that show is some of the best television I've ever seen in my life. It definitely cracks my top 5 television shows of all time. It is one of the greatest things you'll ever see in cinema and on TV ever. It is. I couldn't speak more highly about that show. All 3 seasons are fantastic. I think the first season in particular is the best. Season 2 is very close. Season 3 is a little weaker, but still definitely worth watching. Really amazing. Yeah, check it out. But yeah, thanks guys for commenting. We love you guys. Yeah, for sure. I was just actually reading some trivia. I didn't know that the black case that the money is in is the same from Fargo. I was like, oh hell yeah, that's fucking cool. I'm sure you would keep that kind of shit. Cool detail, yeah.
Javier Bardem, his victory at the 80th Academy Awards made him the first Spanish actor to ever win an Oscar.
Holy shit! Look at us, man. We're covering the first the first categories for Oscars because we talked about Jordan Peele winning. Screenwriter. Yeah.
This was the first Oscar-winning film to be edited using Final Cut. Like, holy shit! Like, that's fucking crazy.
That. Yeah. Well, I use Premiere Pro to like put together the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Final Cut is actually, it's known to be a little bit of, it's like the little brother of Premiere Pro. It's not as sort of advanced, but yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. What do you think the budget was?
Somewhere low. I'm gonna say 20 mil.
I believe it's at about 25.
Close enough. I'll take that.
I'm just gonna take another quick peek real quick.
Do you know what it made back?
Budget's 25 million. Opening weekend of the USA, $1.2 million. In the opening weekend. Overall, internationally, it made like $171 million. But
fucking crazy.
What's crazy, though, is how that never happens. You never have a movie opening weekend that only makes $1.2 million. Well, it was a limited release. I take that back. Yeah. It was a limited release. But, I mean, accumulatively in the U.S. alone, it made triple its budget. So that's fucking cool. But, yeah.
I think word of mouth after this movie came out because everyone is talking about it. Like, it won fucking Best Picture at the Oscars. Like, that's going to get you some kind of cred.
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, unless you've got anything else, any closing thoughts at all, I mean, all I can say is that I love this movie. I definitely need to read the book and give this more of a chance to read some Cormac McCarthy, get some McCarthy in my life. After I finish reading 11/22/63 by Stephen King, I'm on that shit right now. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say. What are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I wholeheartedly recognize it's one of the greatest movies of all time. And it's crazy that, you know, just something like this came out in our lifetime. Like, I know that's high praise, but I mean, like, movies like this you hear about coming out in like the 80s or the 70s, like something so timeless. Like, we're talking about this movie over 10 years after it came out. Like, and I wholeheartedly think that, you know, this is something we're going to be talking about in 20 years' time. That this is so timeless. Like, it doesn't get bogged down in like it's not dated at all. It's just something that'll hold up with time, I think. And it reminds me of something that Taylor Sheridan has written. So Taylor Sheridan is on a fucking roll at the moment. This is the guy that wrote Sicario. He wrote Wind River. He wrote Hell or High Water. I do want to see something like more shit from that guy. But yeah, it's a totally timeless movie with amazing performances and a great story, great tension building, and I think when people look at the Coen Brothers, this is the movie that they put right at the top, which is no small feat.
Right, yeah, especially with Fargo, Big Lebowski, or Brother Art Thou. Like, there's a lot of them, but this is kind of one of those few movies that they do where I think they get a little bit known more for their comedies, because I mean it's. I think people would rather laugh than watch something like Fargo or like this. Well,
Fargo. I actually class Fargo as a comedy, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it has like the moments of like being. Yeah. I mean, there are some fucking like absolutely hilarious moments. But that movie always kind of creeped me out a little bit, to be honest.
It is creepy.
Yeah, but yeah. Next
amazing
week,
movie, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week, like I said, we're gonna be doing some coverage of Bohemian Rhapsody with our good friend Patrick Harrington from Married People Watch Movies.
Love you, Patrick.
Yes, really excited to be talking about that. I think you and like one other person, I guess Patrick, are really the only people that know that have seen it. Except for, did you go see it with Vela?
I didn't go see it with Vela. I'm sure Vela's seen it by now, but either way, I'm gonna go see it again before we do that recording, so I might see what Vela's doing tonight. I'm going to message him right now, actually.
Hell yeah. But yeah, super excited to cover that. I am a huge Queen fan. I've been waiting since I was like 14 or 15, very, very long time ago, and super, super excited to be covering that, especially with another big Queen fan like Patrick. And yeah, I mean, and we're having another feature presentation next week. Not really sure what we're going to be covering right this second. Kind of slide by the skin of our teeth here sometimes. Not really. We have all this
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. That's why I was like, nah, not really. But yeah, we all of our socials, we've got those plugged at the beginning. You guys know where to find us. Rate and review us on iTunes. That's the best way that we can get found out more. If you guys want to find us on there, all it takes is 2 seconds. Don't have to write out a comment. Don't have to do any big spiel. We've gotten some lovely, 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 lovely feedback from some people there. And it just always brings a smile to our face to know that you guys are enjoying the show. Always send us an email at midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Or hey, just find fucking me and Zoheb on our personal pages. We're not shy, unless you're some fucking creep. But either way, you guys have a good night. Keep listening, and we'll catch you guys later.